everyone. Welcome to the Nocturnal Nerdcast Pop Culture After Dark. I am your host, Eric, and if it's your first time attending the show, thank you for being here. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I looked at the analytics, and it seems like at least half of the people that watch the shows are not subscribed. I know it's not always important on YouTube because YouTube likes to put content on your homepage that you're typically engaged with. But subscribing does help the channel because it tells YouTube that you like what you see. So please consider subscribing. Leave a thumbs up to show some engagement or a thumbs down. It all counts the same way. And yeah, that's it. I am excited tonight. We've got a bunch of fun topics to talk about. I knew we were going to have a lot of stuff based on what we had on Tuesday, but we've got a couple trailers to watch. Obviously, we have the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer that came out, which is getting some not so stellar reviews from some people. We'll talk about that. We also have the trailer for Street Fighter, which is also getting some divisive reviews as well. We're going to watch that together. We're also going to talk about what was shown in the Doomsday trailer. We don't have a trailer, which, by the way, if you'd like to vote when we're going to get the trailer, we're going to leave the poll up for a little bit over here. When do you think we're going to get it? Do you think they're going to drop it between now and next week so people can see it? Do you think we're going to see it with the Mandalorian and Grogu? Do you think we're going to see it with Spider-Man Brand New Day? Or do you think we're going to see it later this year as we get closer to the movie? You guys vote, and then we'll take a look at those numbers here shortly. Also, as always, 5 super chats of any tier on either channel will reach the full goal. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. Let me give a shout out to some channel members here already in the chat. Who do we got here? Let me scroll down and make sure. I don't want to make sure I don't miss anybody because sometimes I do. What's up, South Texas Shark? Good to see you. Lone Wolf is here. Good to see you, Lone Wolf. Harrison is in the building. Good to see you, Harrison. Thank you so much. Jose is here. What's up, Jose? Keyblade Master Jeffrey says, my shirt is fire. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, you can only vote once on the poll, as far as I know. As far as I know, you can only vote once. What's up, Cody? Good to see you in the chat. And everybody else, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We're back in the normal studio. So any of the normal panelists who join us should be able to click a link and come in. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody shows up. Right now it's just us, everyone. It's just us. But we'll see who gets here. What else do I have over here to talk about? I got a few things. I did see someone bring up who's the actor that plays Percy Jackson? Walter? Is it Walter Scoble? I think his name is Walter Scoble. Apparently he can't even attend his prom because of like very angry fans. Walker. Got it. Walker Scoble. Well, Eagle. I mean, that's with anything on YouTube, right? That's why I say YouTube's voting system isn't the best. It's not always accurate, but I'll take it. Yeah, he can't attend his prom due to like angry fans and people that are upset. So he's had to like say, I can't do my prom. So he's not going to his prom. And I can tell you right now, I went to 5 proms when I was in high school. As a freshman and a sophomore, I got invited by juniors and seniors. Like I went to prom with juniors and seniors. So I went to prom my freshman year. I went to prom my sophomore year. I went to prom my junior year and twice in my senior year because I went with someone at my high school and one at the rival high school. So there we go. Yeah, missing out on an important life event. Where's it right here? Because of shitty people. Yeah, Reed. Absolutely. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. I don't think it's that people don't enjoy it. I think it's people that want the characters to be in relationships with other characters. I think that's what it is, from what I read. Not totally sure. Ronan is here. What's up, Ronan? What's going on?
What's up, man? Can you hear me good?
Yes, no echo
Nice,
yet.
nice.
So, how
Yeah,
you
I won't be able
been?
to.
You been
I won't.
busy?
I know, man. Yeah, I won't be able to be here for the whole stream, unfortunately, because these past few weeks have been very tough, and so
Mm,
I've been very picky on showing up on stuff and not even showing my face that much. But I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Eric in a while. I gotta visit him, and also today was a big day for pop culture stuff.
yeah.
So I'll I'll muster up a little bit of energy to geek out for a little bit, but then I got to go back to
Okay.
work and balance some stuff out.
Okay. Well, since you're here, we might do the Star Wars stuff first.
Oh,
Because I haven't seen the whole trailer yet,
oh,
so we'll watch the trailer together, and then I'll talk about some of the takes online. So we might do Star Wars at the beginning. I think Jake's also a Star Wars fan,
yeah, yeah.
but I'm not sure. He's usually here a little early. We'll see if he gets in tonight. I don't know if anybody else is a big Star Wars fan. Omega, I think, is as well. Like he's another big fan of Star Wars and Star Trek. So Harrison says, shout out to Ronan. Just got done watching Ronan's Mando trailer reaction with the little
Thanks,
fire
Harrison. I
emoji. So
appreciate that.
yeah, everybody, make sure you show some love to Ronan whenever you get a chance to go over and check out his channel. But we're gonna watch that. Before we do that, though, I've got the poll going over here. Because at some point I will be talking about the Doomsday trailer, probably a little bit later. You may have jumped out before that, but when do you think? Because right now they played it twice at CinemaCon. We kind of know we got a description of what happens in the trailer. When do you think they're going to drop the trailer? Like, what is your guesstimate on when the Doomsday trailer goes public?
Well, in my experience with Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War was a big deal because that was the first time they were going to do the whole everybody together now. And then what I remember is that at that year, 2017, I think was my first Comic Con. I believe, I could be wrong. I believe D23 was before San Diego that year, and they had shown the footage. People were freaking out, like, "Wait, what's happening? What's happening?" And so all of us going to San Diego were like, "Well, they better bring the trailer, right?" And that year they were only promoting fully Ragnarok and Black Panther, and it ended. They ended that panel was like, "Wait a minute, you guys didn't think we were going to show you anything, right?" And so they showed them then the teaser. So I'm assuming that I think Phil said like until Toy Story. I'm like, if I was them, and you know that maybe Lanterns might have a big presence there, maybe Supergirl or Clayface might have a big presence there, not to rival stuff, but like to be like, remember guys, we're Marvel. This is not a panel. This is a rock and roll concert, and this is
Right.
what we can do. And so if I was them, I would save that footage, even though I want to see it right now, until San Diego Comic Con, and
And they might
yeah,
even like add more into the trailer right now is the one they did for the event, this event specifically. So
yeah,
they might beef it up a little bit before we get to Comic Con
yeah.
because they'll have more footage to play with. So
I agree.
all right, so Ronan's here. I think it's only fitting that we talk about Star Wars first. The poll is up. I'm going to hide the poll while we do this segment because we're going to move off to the side.
Right. Oh,
So,
Eric, before we
yeah,
go,
what's
you
up?
know what's another place I didn't think of right now? It just hit me.
Yeah, what's up?
CCXP Mexico is happening. I think
Oh,
next in a few weeks.
yeah.
And I know Mandalorian and Grogu is going to have a presence there, and I know Spider Noir is going to have a presence there. So
Okay.
if they don't want stuff leaking or something happens, if they don't hold it till San Diego, that might be the next place that they will probably drop it.
Yeah. Yeah, Cody says with a whole 2 minute trailer too. Yeah, I think the one we're going to get is going to be longer than 2 minutes. So honestly,
Probably,
I
yeah.
think that's so. All right, so let's go. I'm going to read what I got over here. I've been doing. I am trying to guys turn this into a proper like podcast, and the reason why is I don't know if you guys saw or not, but YouTube has been featuring this on the homepage for 2 weeks
Yes.
now. It's showing up as a featured podcast. So I want to grow it. So I'm actually doing show notes. I'm sitting here writing out notes and stuff like that. So I'm going to be trying to up the production quality as well as the format a little bit. It's still going to be fun, but I just want to make sure it doesn't go off the rails too much. I want to make sure that everybody's able to express their opinion but not talk over each other and stuff like it's. I want it to feel a little bit more professional because typically
Sure.
when you watch the professional podcast, people don't speak over each other, and we have a lot of
No.
that when we have a lot of people here. So I know Jay Bird, white men in their podcasts. What can I say? I'm a white guy. It is what it is. It's part of the system. So Disney used CinemaCon to push The Mandalorian and Grogu as a return of theatrical Star Wars. This is the part I find the most interesting because now we get to find out whether Star Wars fans really want a movie again or they just want to say they want a movie again. Because we've heard a lot of this banter online. I'm sure you're aware with all the the lovers and the haters of Star Wars. That they really want another movie, but I've heard a lot of people, I'm looking at like John Campea and some of these other guys out there who aren't too sold on the concept of turning this TV show into a movie. And I have to say, I understand, look, it's a fair criticism, right? But the TV show is above normal TV show quality. So it's always been, in my opinion, closer to a movie than a TV show in that sense.
That's the one thing people have been hitting back. I haven't even been hitting back. I've just been like, well, guys, I get it. You want to be more cinematic. So do I. But a lot has happened in 7 years where TV is more cinematic than it was beforehand. The way it's shot, I mean, people were impressed, especially during COVID years, where like how good the show looked, even though they didn't go on location. Now, some shows did go on location and the locations popped out, and that's the leverage you get on doing that, but there's also a health risk. And I think my biggest takeaway, and we'll get to it and watch the footage, is that Jon Favreau's been emphasizing we use less of the volume, which is probably, true or false, depending on how you want to read it. Then he said that we've built sets and we went on location. And that, I think, should be the gold standard, especially in a very, very, very digital age where the peanut counters at these companies want to save as many bucks as they can. And it's like, no.
Right.
You want to do a Star Wars movie? You better put your money where your mouth is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, here it's this is the final trailer. They claim it's the final trailer. I think this is probably the last one we're going to get. It's the first film in 7 years. It's got some action sequences in it. We're going to watch here in a second. Grogu wearing the armor, using Force. There's a lot of cute moments in it, which I think is to appeal to the kids that are going to go out and watch this movie.
Right.
And it comes out on May 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a little over a month from today. So I think pre-sale tickets should start soon.
Mañana.
If they're not already. Or is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Actually, okay. All right. Let's watch the trailer and then we'll give our thoughts on it.
Sure.
We've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter and a child.
I only hunt Imperial war criminals. I'll take out every bad guy.
Hold on a second. This is the trailer's not showing up in 1080p. Let me do another one. Why is it not showing up in 1080p? We'll start over. I want to see this in all of its glory.
Yeah, I've heard people say that like YouTube brings down the quality a lot. That you have to go and download the actual trailer from the sites to get the full 4K style.
All right, let me see here. Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. I think what I'm going to do is I used to do this back in the day. I used to use Google Slides, and then I would put everything in there and keep everything really nice and compact. So I might go back to doing that again. All right, I think we got 1080p. Let's try this.
Okay.
Here we go. Sorry about the false start, everybody.
We've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter and a child.
I only hunt Imperial war criminals. I'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor first.
We're protecting everything the rebellion fought for.
Yeah. Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Hey.
Oh, the horrible baby. The bad baby.
Strap in.
We need a professional.
Hang on.
What happens when you're not there to protect him?
You good? I'll be right behind you. Go. Go!
Mandalorian, you will suffer.
Oh, wow.
Then it will be his turn.
Monstrous. The old protect the young. And then the young protect the old. It's time.
Are you scared? You should be.
Good job, baby.
This is the way.
All right.
Come on. Like, how do you not want to see that?
Look, I go back to what I said before, and people in the chat are also saying this. It looks like a fun movie to me, and that's what I want.
Yes.
I want a fun movie. It's the kickoff of the summer. It's a holiday weekend. This part right here is definitely advertising to kids. I think that's the big draw to it. Also, the trailer starts off with like a legend of the Mandalorian, and his child, and that's sort of for the people. So the thing about this movie, and this is an experiment that I don't think we've really done. Marvel has done it a little bit with like the Marvels, but this is one of those movies where we're going to see if people who didn't watch the show are willing to come out and support the movie without a lot of knowledge of the show, and whether or not the people that sat at home and watched it on TV are going to switch it up and come out to see it as a movie. It's a weird experiment, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep an eye on whether or not that works. However, it looks to me like they're trying to follow that formula, and we saw this in 2025.
Yes.
Of making family movies, which is what this feels like. It feels like a movie for all ages. Everybody as young as they can be to older people that want to go see the movie. I feel like that's a good direction for it. I know you did your trailer reaction. I don't want you to step over your own stuff, but just some general thoughts if you have anything you feel like sharing about it.
I just love that, like, there's this notion that I love the line, like, the old protect the young and then the young protect the old.
Yeah.
And this made it clear, I know this kid's gonna outlive me by centuries. And I think his goal is to, like, take good care of him, tell him that he's not alone, that he is loved, and, like, hopefully he remembers the person who took him in. And I love they used a little bit of, I think, Yoda's theme in the beginning. And I love that it's Sigourney Weaver's Colonel Ward saying, like, again, for the generalists, all of us here in the New Republic, we've heard of this Mandalorian warrior and this little kid with him. How you guys have been you guys have a reputation going, and I think that's cool for general audiences. They're like, oh yeah, these aren't just cool toys to sell; they are 3-dimensional characters that people have cared about. And I was, I can't speak for you, Eric, but I remember in those early COVID years how much I needed this show. Like, I needed something. To go home and, like, enjoy and have fun and root for, and, like, I needed it.
It was definitely. I feel like so, and I don't want to, like, make it seem like the only reason the show did good was because of people being stuck at home. I think the show was a very good show anyway.
Yes,
I think it was definitely a good show. But I agree with you. It was comfort viewing because we had, and the reason why it stands out to me so much is my actual job, my career is working in the music industry. So when COVID was going on, I had no jobs. I couldn't do anything. I wasn't a worker that was required to be out working. I wasn't someone that could pick up a gig here and there. Like, literally my entire time during the lockdown was YouTube and watching stuff at home. And so this was one of those shows that definitely filled that void for me. I think a lot of the Marvel shows, the early Marvel shows, did the same thing for me. So I agree with that. I guess my question is, though, is this movie too conceptual to you? Or does it feel like Prestige, Disney Plus? Like, does this level up the show in your opinion? Or is there a lot of, do you buy into the criticism that it's just a season condensed in 2 hours? Like, where are you on that?
I've always said that, like, you put there's arcs or, like, stories in those seasons that 2 episodes, 3 episodes would make a fun like movie you'd want to watch in the movie theater. And I've said this since day one. I would have happily paid money, knowing I'm already paying for Disney Plus, to see some of these episodes in the movie theater already. That's how good it was on just TV. And so I think they also took notion like maybe sometimes we don't need to stretch a storyline that's 8 episodes long. And if you really look into the runtime, it's not a full 8 hour story, but like maybe 5.5, 6 hour story.
This shot right here,
Dude, I was like giddy, man, because me, the Rebellion X-Wings, like that's why, again, I love Din and Grogu. To me, even me as a hardcore fan, I want to know more Colonel Ward. I don't want to just think Ripley, even though I am also thinking that. But I like that. No, that shot of her jumping like in the X-Wing jumpsuit. I had seen a photo of that at Celebration last year, and they had never released it officially. Never.
Yeah.
The only other instant you could see her like that is in the action figure that you buy, and I already have like 2 of them. And I was just like, I just want to see her like that. Like that is so cool. And there's got to be more to this movie than just Din and Grogu going around being badass. That's why.
So you think there's something else that we're not aware of yet? It's in the movie.
I think so. I don't think it's a big plot twist. M Night Shyamalan, Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day, like third act twist. Unless they do, and they do pull it off. Kudos to them for hiding it that long. But I think the added flavor, the background stuff, I think will be highlighted more for people like me who already know these characters, but want to see how do they get along with this side of the galaxy and why this story is in the movie. Again, within a month away, I have a lot of these questions as well that like I'm pumped as hell, but I also know that like I could see the constructive criticism of like why either this doesn't land or does land for new audiences and for hardcore fans. And granted, people who were fortunate enough to be at CinemaCon, who some people got flown up to Burbank to watch the first 20 minutes of the movie in IMAX. They're saying the feels of the first 20 minutes of that movie feel like seasons 1 and 2, which are the ones that are like highly regarded as like the best season and some of the best stuff in Star Wars ever. Not even just Disney era, but just ever. And so I think that there's might be some more to it, but as long as you said, as long as this film can get new audiences and hardcore fans who know these characters, get them together and enjoy it and have different experiences, but yet everybody be like, that was worth price of admission, then you got a home run. Do I think it's going to cross the $1 billion mark? I don't know. I mean, this isn't the first film. Like again, people have to realize that this is not Force Awakens. Force Awakens was a completely different behemoth. It was a decade of no Star Wars movies, and for a lot of us, we said goodbye after Revenge of the Sith. I know I did. I was 10 years old. No, I was 9 years old in that theater, and I said to myself, "That's it. No more Star Wars. These are the last stories." And then in my late teens, it was Han saying, "Chewie, we're home," and it's like, all right, I guess there's more stories to tell, and thank God so, because people could use it nowadays. And yeah, I'm extremely optimistic for this film, but I also am aware that there are clear stuff that could be are valid constructive criticisms outside of, hopefully they don't fall for the same pits the way, even though I love The Force Awakens did, where it's like, oh, it's just another rendition of A New Hope. If this is just another rendition of the show,
right,
I would be very what's the word? Conflicted in a way, because I do love the show, but I want it to be more than just that.
Do you think Grogu is a crutch for the series, or do you think he's like still a big draw? Like, I feel like a lot of people after the first season felt like Grogu was necessary for the show to be successful because of the position that he holds in the series, and that's why they didn't want to like push him into a new direction. Or do you think he's a crutch? Let me give my opinion on this. I think for this movie, it's really important for Grogu to be as upfront as he was in that first season, because for a lot of people, this will be their first time seeing Grogu and Din together. Like, this is going to be their first time seeing these characters on screen. So I think that's really important. Also, merchandise. I think that one of the things we have to recognize with Star Wars, and really with anything that comes out of Disney, is that they want to balance whatever they're making with the money they're going to get from merchandising. And Grogu is going to print money for them with the kids. It's going to, like, if this movie is going to succeed, I mean, maybe this is a hot take, go out on a limb here and say that this movie will only succeed if they can convince families to take their kids to it. I think that's the only way this movie makes any money. I don't think the movie has enough adult fans to make it worth it to go out and watch it in theaters, especially after this trailer. The trailer clearly looks like it's intended to bring in the entire family. So what are your thoughts on the Grogu situation? Is Grogu a crutch, a benefit? How do you feel about Grogu? Are you similar to the way I feel about it, or?
It's weird because 7 years in, I have to really think about it, because how many times can, Grogu do the same like bit and not be tiring? Like, again, there's some exchanges here that I'm like, Grogu messing around in the chair and the ship, which it's very nitpicky for me. But like, it's like I don't need to see that again because I went through 3 seasons of television seeing that over and over again, and I loved it. But I was like, okay, kid, like something else. I always said that the show was called The Mandalorian, and I always thought Din could stand on its own in the show, and that's what I thought the majority of season 3 was going to be. I was like, wow, we made a bold choice to separate the characters. Spoiler alerts for anybody who hasn't seen the show. We made a clear, logical, correct choice of splitting the characters apart at the end of season 2, and that was a journey. And then we did a different show, and in that show we brought him back. And you believe what you want to believe of rumors and all this stuff. There's people saying that reuniting Grogu and Din was a company forced decision. Maybe the creators didn't want to do that, but they were told you got to put him back. I always thought that it would have been nice if towards the end of season 3, not the beginning of season 3, towards the end, that's when we would reunite Grogu and Din, and that this would be their first big mission, and that would have been cool because okay, they're back, they're gonna be father and son, and now how's this mission gonna go? He is his ward, he is adopted now. How is that gonna go? I always thought that would have been an interesting angle instead of having him throughout all of season 3. But it is what it is. We can't change the past. As long as there's stuff that new moments of Grogu that I can connect with, other than him being cute, you got me. And people talked about it. Is he going to talk in this movie? And I think even Cappy said it, that the thing is, if you make him talk, you can't close the box anymore. You can't close it. Right. Once that door is open, you can't go back to presuming what he thinks or what he assumes. Where that subtle physical communication goes a long way, which is a great.
Once he grows up, he grows up. There's no going back on that. So
yeah.
Not everybody is happy about the trailer, though. I got a few shocker here.
Shocker. Even though I've been hearing even from a lot of fellow friends and creators of YouTubers who are saying this is the trailer that finally got me excited for the show. I've heard that, but I'm also not shocked that people are bitching and moaning.
This is the best trailer for this movie that we've had. In terms of teasers, advertisements, whatever. This is the best one, easily, hands down.
I can see that.
But we have Games Radar reporting there is an internal concern, meaning within Disney, that the film may not satisfy broader fans the way a fresher theatrical concept might. Meaning they're worried that this might not be big enough to bring people back to the theaters for Star Wars. That's what Games Radar is saying. Tech Radar, their critic says the marketing looks underwhelming and failed to make the first Star Wars movie in years feel like an event. It's one of their statements. We also have Grace Randolph chiming in.
Wow.
She called it Star Wars for babies. She felt like the trailer was overly cutesy and very lightweight, was her quotes.
Could it be that we become very pessimistic world? Because
yes.
I get that. Sometimes I am pessimistic, but sometimes I have to realize that and again, I know George always said, I made these movies for 12-year-olds and all that stuff. I get that, but there's got to be something. You can do art that hits both for kids and for audiences, i.e. Batman the Animated Series. As an adult, I can still enjoy that episode, And as a kid, I still enjoyed. I enjoyed that episode as a kid. Like you can pull it off. It's tough, but it is possible. And again, I give John Favreau the benefit of the doubt because this is the guy who gave us Elf. He gave us Iron Man. Like as far as I know, as far as I'm aware, he gets benefit of doubts each time he chooses to swing. Now when he does stuff like Jungle Book or Lion King, I'm like, all right, well you're piggybacking an animated film, but we'll see.
Yeah. I want to say I see Phil in the chat. Phil, if you want to jump on, it is the first link that I sent you, or the first link that you got. We're back in the original studio. I was able to fix it. So if you want to jump on and chat, you're more than welcome to jump in. All right, what else did I have here? Oh, we've got the first. By the way, chat. Actually, before we move on, guys, actually, we'll do a poll for it. We'll end this poll and we'll do another one. I'm curious what people think about this. So right now we have 33% of people think that we're going to get the Doomsday trailer next week. 28% think we're going to get it with Mandalorian and Grogu. 22% think Spider-Man Brand New Day, and only 17% think later this year. So the vast majority of people think we're going to get the trailer sooner than later for Doomsday. What do you think about that?
I listen, and you know, having again me being like, I want to see it. I know it is a choice. Right now, Mando Grogu is coming out soon, so to give that trailer its time to breathe before you plunge in Doomsday, which everybody's going to be talking about. Everybody, whether it's haters, lovers, pessimists, optimists, like everyone's going to be talking about Doomsday. Let this marketing flow and give it time to breathe. That way, people can take in the trailer. So, whether it drops next week at CCXP Mexico or at Comic-Con, like people are going to show up. That's the thing that people don't realize. Like the studios were going to show up for this movie, regardless if they put out the trailer or not. And they've already put out these 4. They didn't even call them teasers, stories, mini stories already. They put out 4 of them. So like, that's enough for me to be like, all right, I don't want to get revealed too much because shit is all over the internet nowadays, and you never know. So I don't know.
No.
Hey, Phil.
Welcome, Phil. What did you think of the trailer? Oh, wait, I can't hear Phil. I think you're muted.
Yeah. See it.
What about now?
There you go.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm with Ronan. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I have nothing but kind things to say about this trailer. I'm kind of biased in that sense, I suppose. So I'm really looking forward to it. I will say that there's one shot in the trailer that has me a little trepidatious, possibly about Mando biting the bullet.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, you know, I like seeing Sigourney Weaver in pilot outfit.
I saw that was one of my favorite shots when she stepped down. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
As a huge Rebels fan, I love Zeb.
Oh.
And look, man, if we get this, could be Rogue One level of success. Not saying a billion, but it could be successful. It could be, you know, Solo, not so successful. I'm just happy that there's a Star Wars movie coming back to theaters, and it's got a really cool character. And I've said this before, you know, when this show debuted, a lot of people were like, I would love to see a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And that's exactly what this is. This also has a budget that is not in the same level of, you know, the sequel trilogy. So I think the return on investment is a little more, you know, there's wiggle room there.
Yes.
So for me, you know, I think this is honestly one of the things Ron and I truly bond over Star Wars, and I love the Mando character. I love the Mandalorian culture, but seeing him take out, you know, warlords for the Empire, sign me up, man. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this, and we're getting more Hutts. I never thought I'd want to see more Hutts, but hey, you know, this is cool. Yeah. I love that he's gonna go to town on some Hutts and fucking fuck up Rot of the Hutt. It's gonna be awesome.
I also want to say, you mentioned the budget, so the financial ceiling for this is much lower than it is for some of the other movies in terms of whether or not it's successful for them at the box office, because they spent so much money. I think all the sequel movies were like 200 million plus, right? Weren't all of them?
Yeah, like around that, either like 175 or 200 easily.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a good spot for them in terms of like the finances for this.
And people also get confused with what happened with Solo. Like, Solo got reshot. And, like, this has been consistent. Whether the initial time was to do a season 4 movie, that's a whole other conversation. But, like, this was consistent. and they had what 3 years to do this movie. So,
Yeah.
like, I think people have to take into the mindset like Solo was under enormous pressure from the reshoots, and also the notion like it's Han Solo. At that time, for people, even for a lot of people nowadays, Harrison Ford is Han Solo, and that's it. I mean, the poor guy. You probably talk about it later, but the poor guy
Yeah.
at Galaxy's Edge now is getting grilled by fucking trades because he
Because
doesn't look like
of
Han
his wig
Solo.
or something. Yeah, his wig, I think, is
And
what you're talking
so
about.
Solo is a completely different beast than Mandalorian Grogu. And again, I am very optimistic that like it'll make its money back easily. And the notion that they need it more now, more than just the money, it's just like, is it a good story? It was worth price of admission. That way, next Starfighter, people go in and are like, okay, we're good with one movie. Let's get the next one going. If that was a success, then people are gonna start hushing down, coming down, like, the Star Wars need to go back to the movie theaters. Is that done? Did only George could pull it off? And that whole discord.
Don't forget, Chad, if you want to vote on the poll of whether or not you like the trailer, you hit 1, 2, or 3 corresponding with the option on the poll. And we're going to end that in a second. I do want to kind of follow up on something you said before we move on, Ronan, about like people, their interest in this and like the age of the audience that's watching it. You kind of alluded to that a little bit. I think that for me, and I'm not, obviously I'm the oldest person on the show, like every week. I do feel like there's a group of people around my age and older that have just fallen out of love with the fun of Star Wars, and they can't admit to themselves that they're not into it anymore. It's sort of like staying with somebody because it's comfortable, not because you really care about them.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, dude,
Yeah.
the past few years have shown we have range with this universe.
Yes.
People don't like it. People love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Andor, that is as adult as it's gotten in Star Wars, whether you like it or not. That's adult. You can't deny like
Yeah.
them talking about killing people and whether it's a good idea or not, or it's for the betterment of good. Like that is adult stuff. Kids shouldn't be talking about that. What was that?
Sorry to cut you off, but to add to that, there's also the very serious talk of, doing ugly, egregious things to women in that show too. I'm not a super huge fan of Andor, but I will agree with Ronan. It is the most adult Star Wars show to date, and that's its greatest strength. And I recognize that. I recognize the writing is really well done. It's just not my kind of show because, excuse me, I'm not really interested in the whole rebellion.
Empire,
Right,
the
political movement behind Star Wars, I guess, in that way.
And like, I think you could still apply that with the Jedi and the Sith, as they haven't reached that full-on level yet with the Jedi and the Sith. I think there's still room to do that. And a lot of us wanted Acolyte to lean into that more. And like, again, I just said Acolyte. There's a pre-episode 1. I mean, look at Maul right now. It's getting a lot of views and claim it's animation. And so there's space to do. You don't have to just do the pulpy cool stuff, even though it's nice to once in a while get it, like Mando. And you don't have to just do the Andor stuff, even though I want more Andor. Like, there's so much variety and stuff, and like that's what I tell people. Between animation and live action, we still have a lot of range spreading. And I've said it. We have only tipped the tip of the iceberg yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Phil. I'm sorry. I when I met the political thing, I know a lot of people that I've talked to when it comes to Andor say that it's the political element of it that is very underwhelming for them and as a viewer. It's well done. They're just not into it. I mean to like put that on you. I was just pointing out that some people feel that that's a little bit on the boring side, even though it's well done. I know people that didn't watch Andor because of how slow it was. It is a very cerebrally slow series. Like, you have to really be committed to watching it, and I understand that people aren't always into that, and some people just like the Jedi shit. And they just they don't care about
perfectly
it.
valid.
I'm totally one of those people who prefers the Jedi lore to a lot of it. In by comparison, and also the Mandalorian stuff also comes in a close second. So I guess that I'm not trying to like diminish the show in any way. I mean, I give Ronan jabs here and there, but that's all out of love. But it's really like, it's one of those things where I look at as a Star Wars fan and I go, okay, this is cool. I don't necessarily think it's all that, but if other people are clinging to it, that's great. It does what it needs to do. I'm one of the hardcore defenders of the Acolyte. I loved the Acolyte.
I love the Acolyte too.
cool. Then we're on the same page. Like, but
Yeah,
like,
that fight scene in the forest is one of my favorite things I've ever seen
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
good.
So,
It is literally on par choreography wise with the Duel of the Fates.
yeah, I agree.
There's no topping Duel of the Fates for me because there's just so much, not only just a choreographed fight, but that fight in and of itself. Literally, it's called Duel of the Fates because they are fighting for the soul of Anakin Skywalker.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love that, and I love that Dave Filoni picked up on that. And ever since like that revelation has been instilled into me, I kind of look at Star Wars a little bit differently these days too. And you kind of have to look at, I look at the sequel trilogy in a similar kind of way too, because the sequel trilogy is what it is. I'm not gonna bitch and moan about what shoulda, coulda, woulda happened, right? Because that's irrelevant at this point. It is what it is. But I do look at certain things in each installment, and I can say like that was done deliberately because of X thing that happened in a previous installment, and it's poetry because it rhymes, and that's how George operates. And a lot of people are just looking at it like, oh no, this is just the same reductive bullshit we've seen before, and it's bad. And I'm like, well, why is it bad? Because it's been done before, but it's not the same thing. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's a never-ending fucking conversation with these chuds, but
The other thing that gets me about, and I don't want to get into, because look, I love The Acolyte, but we could talk all night about that show. But I think that the issue I had with that one specifically was that even if I were to agree with some of their criticisms of the show, the fact they can't actually admit that there were parts of it that were really good is the red flag for me. Because it's like, yeah, you might not like the show as a whole. Like maybe it wasn't your thing, and I get that. But there are certain elements of that show that were done really, really well outside of just being a part of The Acolyte. And they just refuse to admit that any of it was good. And that's the part where I'm like, clearly you're doing this for social media clout. You're doing it for internet clicks. Because if you can't even go, this one thing was cool. I hated 99% of it, but this one thing was really fucking cool. The fact they can't even do that is a huge problem for me with Acolyte.
definitely.
So, okay, we're going to end the poll here, but I want to point out one last thing about the trailer. I really enjoyed Skeleton Crew. I don't know if anybody else liked that show. I thought it was a lot of fun.
So did I. I was happy with that show. Yeah.
Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie feels like more of that and mixed with the Mandalorian, like seasons 1 and 2, which I think is going to resonate really well with the audience. We're going to have to see if this experiment pays off for Disney and Lucas, to see if this works out for them. Okay, so let's end the poll here and see what people think about this. 86% of the people that voted liked the trailer. We had 0 people that didn't like it. And we had 14% that said that they were just meh. It wasn't good or bad. So, I mean, I'd rather people be meh than say they didn't like it. So, Skeleton Crew is good, Dalton. I would check it out 100%. I think it's a fun series. It's a lot like an 80s, early 90s kids adventure, but it's in the world of Star Wars. And don't let that dissuade you. Like, it's not childish in that way. It's just, it follows a group of kids, but it's a very good show. This is the poster for Star Wars Celebration 2027.
Yes, it is.
Which I love this. It's like old Hollywood, the way it's designed.
Yeah.
I love the style of it. Someone was saying this is AI.
Man.
I think it's AI.
Dude, so first of all, I'm not saying they didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. First of all, shout out to the artist who did this. As far as I'm aware, they didn't use AI. Unless they did, that would really break my heart. But I'm confident they did do the art itself.
It doesn't look like AI to me. It looks too.
No.
It looks too. What's the word I'm looking for? Clean is a good one. It also looks intentional. Like AI doesn't look intentional. A lot of times, like Darth Vader, you might see a random thing beside his helmet that doesn't make any sense. Like this,
It's literally echoing the A New Hope
intentional.
poster. And my favorite detail as an Angelino is the Hollywood hill signs are switched from Hollywood to Star Wars, and I love that. Like that is
no, that's great. That's great.
that is like this. And I'll let you guys talk about it first because I have a lot of very personal emotions about this notion.
Okay. Well, I want to say, first of all, obviously, I love the old Hollywood look, which is why they have the sign in the back. This is Star Wars. They're going for that, like, Great Gatsby era of like posters.
Roaring 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that about it. I love the colorway of it. I love the where characters are placed. Obviously, we talked about it a minute ago. You mentioned the solo actor walking around with the wig. They were harassing him, which sucks. Don't fucking do that to these people. They get paid very little to do that work for everybody. It's really annoying. But all through the Star Wars sets on both Disneyland and Disney World, they're also bringing in the classic characters again. They're bringing them back out, which is something a lot of people have asked for. So I'm glad that they're able to meet that with the demand. So they're doing a lot of callbacks here. I think it's really smart. Obviously, Star Wars Celebration is to celebrate all of Star Wars. And so bringing the older characters back up and saying, hey, we love these characters too, just as much as you guys do, I think is the right way to sort of, I don't want to say win fans over because I hate when studios do things like that. I think this is probably something that looks like it's a good, it's like it's a little goodwill towards the fandom, I think, from Disney and Lucas here. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it looks great. I'm a big fan of really cool posters. This is something I would hang on my wall for sure.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Phil, you got anything?
Sorry, one more time.
I said, you got anything? What do you think about this?
Any thoughts on Celebration?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the tickets are going on sale soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get them because I just dumped a bunch of money on my San Diego Comic-Con hotel. So maybe, I don't know. I think the poster looks great. I also, funny enough, I actually have a Funko of the original McQuarrie design of Darth
Vader. Yeah.
It's somewhere up here. I don't remember where it is exactly.
I remember getting that. Yeah.
It's super cool. He's also got the blue saber too, so it's pretty slick. But yeah, I like it. I like that it's a bit of a homage to the original poster of Star Wars. It's great. I would love to go. I really would, but I gotta find a way. I mean, if I can, I can. But we'll see if I can.
And Ronan, you said you wanted to give us a moment, so you wanted to say something. So
listen. To think that you could tell a little 5-6-year-old brown kid from North Hollywood, California, that the thing you fell in love with is going to come back to your hometown, closer to where you live, and you're going to celebrate its 50th anniversary. And the ideas, the prospects of who might show up, of what can be planned for this, and especially now who's in charge of Lucasfilm, knowing that the co-president is a huge hardcore fan, knows the big deal the celebration is and how emotional go watch him talking about the fans and celebration and see him almost nearly cried because he said if he wasn't here doing this stuff, he would be here with us in the crowds going to these panels. So the notion that this 50th anniversary is going to be in my hometown, that I technically have a place to stay, but I'm probably going to try to do my best to get a hotel just because traffic itself will be a hurdle to go back and forth to where I would be staying at. And I really, again, that's why I echo people when I do reactions or do stuff that I do this stuff because I'm such a fan, but especially now, why I'm doing it now is because when I turn off the camera or turn off my mic, I have to deal with the real world stuff. And when I do these live streams, when I do these reactions, when I talk about Star Wars and Marvel and DC and anything fictional that I'm connected to, I get to express myself and I get to escape. I don't do drugs. I don't really drink, which is shocking for a Latino. You would think I'd be, drinking every weekend, but that's, my hometown friends, they drink for me. I don't gamble, even though I like poker here and there. This and Comic-Con, these are my quote unquote vices I go to every year. I haven't gone to Hawaii yet, which I know is a big expensive vacation for people. This is the closest I could get to Hawaii as of now.
Right.
And I am making it like a mission to go and be this year, start bothering knocking Lucasfilm and Disney's doors, be like, yo, I'm a fan. Hook me up. I will happily show you guys out, sponsor me or promote your stuff because I care about this deeply. I think we all need it nowadays. And besides the panels and all the cool stuff and maybe celebrity sightings here and there, I can't wait to see whether it's Phil, you, or anybody else or friends who have already gone and met at Celebration. Just hang out with them for a full weekend. For a full weekend, we have an excuse to be stuck together and just geek out when we go back to our respective corners of the world. Because if I make it to this one, this will be my third celebration consecutive since COVID hit, and I went to Anaheim. I went to London. No, it'll be my fourth one. Anaheim, London, Japan, and then this one. And I want to keep that streak going. This is very important to me, in my opinion.
Awesome. Well put. You got a lot of people in the chat shouting you out, so that's cool.
Thank you.
It's like one of the biggest Star Wars fans I've ever met. So,
yeah.
Again, I remember my dad calling me the other day. He's like, because he sometimes he sees this stuff. He's like, how the hell do you all know this shit? Like, how the fuck do you know these weapons and creatures and all this stuff? And I'm like, listen, man, as a kid, instead of Pokemon and stuff, I latched onto this shit. And like, I don't want to say it's a religion or this stuff because that feels very ownership. And I don't want to, feel like I own Star Wars or owns me something. I got lucky that I got into it as a kid. That's all I can say.
We got some super chats here. 2 of them, matter of fact, we're 2 out of 5 now. Cody with a $5 super chat says a lot of people hate on the show. Hate on the show became not a purely bounty hunter show when it was never going to stay that way. So you're saying they didn't like it because it wasn't just about the Mandalorian being a bounty hunter.
And I get that, to an extent. But I'm also a samurai fan. I'm a Lone Wolf and Cub Samurai Jack fan, and like, if you're not gonna do bounty hunter, but you're gonna do that, you're gonna do it with Star Wars, which never really lean into that, even though it was inspired by it. That's why it hooked for me. Like that. Go back and watch that first season. And anytime they would talk about the show, they would emphasize samurai movies and westerns. Mm-hmm. And we weren't just going to say, may the force be with you because it's the thing now. It's like, no, you have to earn that saying nowadays because we don't live in 77. It's not, we live in a world where this stuff has been living with us for 50 years almost. And between the comics and the books, it's like you can't have that. And so I still think you could do a show or a season or a movie of just Din being a bounty hunter. Which in essence, this movie is going to be kind of, but I think it's still possible to do that. You just got to lean into it in a big way. And I get people being upset by it, but like for what you don't get, what you do get, I think there's still worth to keep that. And I'm glad that like, if we didn't get that, we got this. And I'm appreciative. Like, all right, I care about a dude wearing a bucket the whole time and a little puppet. What is that? What if that's not magic? I don't know what is.
Naruto here with a $5 super chat. Eric, I just DM'd you a video on Discord to consider for a reaction on the Debunks channel. It's 20 minutes long, too long for a Copecast. Yeah, 20-minute videos I typically set aside for like off-stream viewing, but I will check it out. Did you DM me where? Just tell me where you DM me so I'll know where to look. And here, the super chat from Naruto. I found out yesterday that Firecracker's actress from The Boys is the voice of Kara in Detroit Become Human. Have any of you played that? I haven't played that. Has anybody played that game?
I know.
No, but I know people were fans of it when it came out. And listen, I haven't seen the show. Firecracker, that character is fucking something else, but kudos to the actress. She's very lovely and
She's just literally fucking something else.
Yeah, like, I remember hearing the inspiration for it. I'm like, yep, that tracks. At that time, that tracks.
Yeah, that's too funny. Thank you for the super chat. We have one from Cartoon 49, $2 super chat. Good to see you, Cartoon. Thoughts on Spaceballs 2 new info? So we have the teaser for that. I think they have that. Let me see if I can find it.
May the force be with you.
I think that was at CinemaCon too, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
CinemaCon. Yep.
That was yesterday. Amazon MGM.
All right, let's. I will
pull
the
next
up.
one.
Literally call the next one.
Literally called the next one.
And apparently, again, I haven't seen the footage. Apparently, they put in the trailer some YouTubers, and they poke fun a little bit of like people who like cover this stuff and how they feel about reboots and follow-ups and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's cheeky.
I actually think that Grace Randolph was in it, right?
I heard one of them? Grace and Campia. That's what I heard, which is ironic because I think both or Campia's there. I know that Campia was at CinemaCon, so that was kind of funny.
This is all. Let me know if this is the right one. This is all I found when I looked it up. So,
nearly 40 years ago, a promise was made.
God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2. The search for more money. Money.
Hold it. Wait a minute. It's me, Mel Brooks. I have a major announcement. Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, is not going to be the title of this movie. Why not? Because after all these years, I found the money. There it is, the money. It was in my basement. But everywhere I go, people say, Mel, where's the new Spaceballs? When are you going to make the new Spaceballs? When are you going to make the new one? Well, we did it. And the title is Spaceballs, the new one. It's just like the old one, but it's newer. That's why it's called the new one. There you have it. I'll see you at the movies, and may the Schwartz be with you.
Spaceballs, the new one.
Guys, that's 100-year-old, I think, Mel Brooks, or near 100-year-old,
He's
like Mel
nearly
Brooks
100.
still directing. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, when I saw Young Frankenstein for the first time, that was like, I was so happy that someone in my family showed that to me, because that is one of the funniest movies ever made, ever. Frankenstein. Oh, I love it. Are you guys pumped? I'm pumped.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for it.
I need to
all right.
rewatch that when it's been a long time since I've seen the original.
All right, so Ronan, are you hanging or you got to go? Because we're going to jump into another topic. I didn't know if you want to stick around.
What are you guys gonna talk about next?
Doomsday. We're talking.
All right, I'll stick around a little bit more for that one.
Okay. All right. All right, everyone. So, CinemaCon finally gave us the first real look. Not us. We didn't get that. At Avengers Doomsday, and Marvel's very clearly trying to tell the world it's not just another MCU release. It's event mode Marvel again. I have so much to say about this. This is probably going to take up an hour of my time, even by myself, so I can imagine what, other people chiming in. But let's bring this up first here. So Avengers Endgame theatrical re-release will include brand new footage ahead of Doomsday. So this is interesting.
Somewhere James Cameron just woke up going, oh, hell no.
During the Walt Disney Studios presentation at CinemaCon on Thursday, directors Joe and Anthony Russo announced that the September 25th release will include brand new footage from the already 3-hour-long movie, plus both Endgame and Doomsday, and this is the crazy announcement, in theaters December 18th, will be presented in Infinity Vision, a new certification for premium large format theaters, which is touted as delivering the biggest, brightest, and most immersive cinematic experience for moviegoers. It says here, Disney's standards for production quality are second to none, with every single detail of a film finely tuned for an immersive experience, said Andrew Cripps, head of theatrical distribution for Walt Disney Studios. Infinity Vision certification extends that commitment to the theaters themselves, representing a shared effort between the Walt Disney Studios and the exhibition community to help audiences quickly find the very best screens in their area to experience our films in exactly the way they're designed to be seen on a huge screen with the sharpest, clearest color and sound. And we'll take a look at that intro here in a second with Infinity Vision. But before we get to that part, I want to know everybody's thoughts on this. We're going to take a movie that's already 3 hours and add more shit in it. Thoughts on this?
I think it's going to be a lot of the deleted scenes, but I've heard that they might throw in stuff that should be a good connective bridge to Doomsday, which, it's an interesting notion because I'm like, does that change the film? Even though we already have copies of that original film that came out almost 7 years ago, which is fucking nuts to me. So I think it's a lot of deleted scenes, and from what they said of how Doomsday connects and where it takes place, it doesn't shock me. They're gonna add stuff in, and I'm okay with it because fucking if people can handle the Lord of the Rings extended, we could handle the Avengers extended, I think.
My only thing is, why are we not getting both of them back in theaters? Because I think I like both of them, obviously. I think Infinity War is the better movie of the two of them, in my opinion. I think it's just a better movie. Endgame is trying to tie up a lot of the loose ends, and it's a great film. I think Infinity War is a little bit better, which means I'll watch Infinity War first before I go see this re-release, because I am going to watch this re-release. Which, by the way, this is going to drive up the box office on this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it's going to put it at, but it's going to drive the box office up on it. Phil, what do you think about adding more stuff into the salad?
But listen, I can only speak for myself, and, I have been a pretty hardcore Marvel Studios fan since the days of Incredible Hulk and Iron Man. I've been there literally since the beginning. Iron Man is the only one I have not seen in theater. Every other Marvel Studios movie I have seen in theaters. So, and that includes the dumb shit Taika Waititi made too. But I genuinely have a lot of love and affinity for this universe because growing up watching X-Men and Spider-Man, Iron Man, a lot of these older shows, and even seeing some of the more modern takes on some of these shows too, it's just really blissful to have been alive long enough to see all this shit come to fruition. And, you know, when it came to Endgame, I mean, I am a DC fan more than I am a Marvel fan, but I always say I like both because equally, you know, on the DC side, Batman's my number one and Spider-Man's my number one on Marvel. And so when it comes to this movie in particular, I unlike Rob Liefeld, I actually appreciate and respect Marvel Studios for what they tend to do, because, you know, at the end of the day, they're telling their own stories. They may be inspired by Marvel Comics. They may take and pull from Marvel Comics, and that's the beauty of these movies in this universe, is that it's a homage and an elseworld to the comic books in a lot of ways. And so when it comes to re-releasing a film and going back and adding, you know, stuff into it that may or may not have been into it, I'm not sure if it'll be deleted scenes. It very well could be some deleted scenes. It could be some bridge things that they shot while they were making Doomsday. I'm not 1,000% sure on either of that, but all I will say is this is the first time that Marvel has actually felt compelled to actually do something like this with one of their movies, and it's bold. Will it pay off for them? I'm not entirely sure, but I don't have a reason to doubt them because I think the Russo brothers have, you know, kind of set the bar in terms of quality Marvel. B, Kevin Feige is at the forefront of all of this, and you do not get the Marvel Cinematic Universe without him at all. And that man is arguably the smartest man in Hollywood, regardless of any fumblings or misgivings that, you know, the last two phases have had. It's still consistent, and the man knows consistency, and he knows consistent good storytelling. But when he's stretched thin, you know, you get stuff like Secret Invasion and fucking Thor: Love and Thunder. But that's, again, another conversation for another day. But overall, like, I'm probably going to do the same thing you're going to do. I will watch. Matter of fact, I've even told myself after Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out is when I begin my Marvel Cinematic Multiverse rewatch.
Okay.
Because that goes from Iron Man and even some of the X-Men movies all the way from phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 6. And then I'm going to try and space it out so I have 6 months to do, you know, from Iron Man all the way to Spider-Man Brand New Day, because I'm guaranteeing that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be out physically before Avengers Doomsday releases in theaters. And I own every Spider-Man movie, so I will absolutely own Brand New Day. And yeah, I'm going to make it a point to do a 6-month timeline rewatch of everything Marvel. And then, you know, I'm going to have to squeeze in Infinity War and Endgame sometime in September, because I want to see this as well. I'm not going to pass it to see this.
Are you going to watch Infinity War like the day that you go see the Endgame
Yes.
re-release? That's what I'm planning on doing.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
That's what I did when Endgame first came out. We literally timed it like, all right, we got to get there half an hour early, so it's not too crowded with traffic. We timed it, all right, 3 hours for Infinity War. We drive 10, 15 minutes, and then we go watch Endgame. So, yeah.
So, also, this will also be the 4th time I'll have seen Endgame in theaters, and that will tie it up with every other comic book film that I've seen over 3 times, and that's a very small list that only consists of Deadpool and Wolverine, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and the Batman.
Wow. Okay. Before we move into this next portion, you guys, we are 3 out of 5 super chats on the Reloaded channel, which means we only need 2 more of any amount to let you guys pick one of the options on the poll. This is what you do: 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on which one you would like to see us talk about. Number 1 is top 3 heroes who are morally gray. Number 2, heroes with capes. Number 3, mutants who should be in the MCU. And number 4, top 3 worst movies of all time. So you get to choose which one we'll be doing in one of our future game nights. So there we go. Now, let's talk a little bit about Infinity Vision briefly before we get into the Doomsday stuff. Now, obviously, this is something to push back against the lockout of IMAX that happens so often because of contractual reasons. And Disney was like, we're tired of having to play second fiddle. So Infinity Vision is a new certification for premium large format theaters designed to signify an audience the biggest, brightest, and most immersive cinematic experience. Infinity Vision sets a new benchmark for theatrical presentation, certifying auditoriums that meet rigorous technical standards, which means they're going to go in and provide them or require them to have certain things in order to do this. The largest screens for maximum scale, laser projection for superior brightness and clarity, premium audio formats for fully immersive sound, beginning with the September 25th re-release of Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame, followed by the December 18th release of Marvel Studios' Avengers Doomsday. Audiences will be able to seek out Infinity Vision certified screens to see the film on the grandest possible scale. And we have this intro here, which is similar to like a 90s movie intro, I think. Here we go. All right, guys, thoughts on Infinity Vision?
I'm going to head out soon, but I think it's an interesting notion to go, because I've been, if I'm not watching it in IMAX, I always tell folks Dolby Atmos is right there. Dolby Atmos is just as good of a presentation as IMAX, in my opinion. I love IMAX. I love my regular, small, simple auditorium for indie movies and whatnot. I don't need to see indie movies in IMAX, although sometimes it's cool. This is a cool. I don't mind it. It's a good go around because Dune Part 3 has the lock in, and so respect that. But Dolby Atmos is there, and hopefully it's not too of a confusing thing come December. People will be like, "Oh, I'm having enough trouble already with the Christmas shopping. I gotta worry about the fucking format to see this fucking movie, and I get spoiled." So hopefully it's not too confusing for general audiences. I think for us hardcore fans, cinephiles, we follow this stuff more easy and get the details fine of okay, this is what qualifies for this standard Infinity Vision. This is what qualifies for not that vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ronan, where can they find you? What do you got going on? And let us know before you head out.
You can find me at Ronan Unchained on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram. Come probably next month or in June, I might start streaming on Twitch. And just go watch my coverage on the Mandalorian Grogu trailer. I'm covering Moss Shadowlord every week. That show's fucking awesome. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Daredevil, we're gonna be finishing Invincible, and then every week until the movie comes out, I'm dropping my rewatch of the Mandalorian TV show with friends who either never seen it or haven't seen it in a while. So you might see Phil in one of those pretty soon. So I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, good to see you, Ronan. Thanks for coming in.
Good seeing you, fellas. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Thank you, Chief. See you soon.
Phil, what do you think about the Infinity Vision? Do you think this is just them trying to make up for the lack of IMAX screens, or do you think they're genuinely trying to create something for their films? Like, what do you think the situation is?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's more so definitely trying to compete with the IMAX, and just, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, if IMAX already had a deal with Warner Brothers for Dune, it really doesn't shock me that they already, nabbed them up and said, "Too bad, so sad for you guys." So Disney's like, "All right, we'll do something different." And that's kind of the MO for Disney, and always has been. When they find themselves in a bit of a difficult position, they always kind of try and do something different and creative. And I think this kind of falls in that category a little bit. They are the biggest brand building studio in Hollywood, so I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. Will I go seek it out? And if they have Infinity Vision in one of the theaters that I have, maybe. But I'm not one way or the other about it. I mean, I'm typically not huge on IMAX screens because they used to bug me when I was younger, and I used to get headaches. As a matter of fact, even the last film I saw on IMAX was The Flash, and that movie is just kind of a headache all of itself too. So I'm not really rushing out to see movies on IMAX unless formatted as such. I've also been kind of spoiled because I've been fortunate enough to see the Snyder Cut in IMAX, and that's really kind of like the peak of superhero storytelling for me. But in a way, I do love Doomsday. I like the idea of this movie. I love Doctor Doom. He's my favorite Marvel villain. So I could see a case for me going out to see this movie in Infinity Vision or even Dolby Atmos. It doesn't, biggest screen possible. Totally fine with either one.
I have a local, so we don't have, where I live in a resort area, but unfortunately for me, the major theater chains are spread out. Like the closest Regal or whatever to me is like 40 minutes away. It's quite a drive.
Yeah.
We have a lot of like small chains that are owned by local people. And so we go to the ones that have the big screens, but they're not certified IMAX and they're not, you know what I mean? They're not any well-known things. They're like mom and pop type places. So that's the ones I go to. And the only time I've ever really sought out a bigger screen, like purposely gone out to see something on a bigger screen, was Godzilla -1. That was the only one. I wanted to see that in IMAX, or the biggest screen I could see it in. I don't know. With kaiju movies, I tend to look for larger screens. I don't know. Maybe it's a
that's
weird
fair.
thing.
That's fair.
But
I mean, I think, I was fortunate enough to see the Batman in IMAX, and that for a first viewing 2 weeks before it debuted globally too, that was really special. Getting in a theater with a bunch of other Batman fans and having to see that movie on the biggest screen possible. It was kind of a date, and that date went nowhere. But hey, at least I got a really good movie.
Well, there's always a silver lining somewhere,
right?
All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump over to what we know about Doomsday. Now, there was a lot of complaining on social media from people who are there as influencers, not necessarily reporters, but just influencers that were invited to these events. Because a lot of the public, and I feel the same way, CinemaCon no longer is what I guess they say it's supposed to be, which is just a promotional tool for the industry. And that's what it was like like if you go back, 8-9 years ago, that's kind of what it was. But it's transformed into like a spring. They don't want to admit this, but it's like a spring Comic-Con at this point.
Pretty much.
Not quite as big, but for promotional reasons, I feel like that's what it is. And so a lot of fans are saying, hey, you do these teasers there, and we have to get breadcrumbs from influencers. Just give us the trailers. Like what's the point of doing that with certain things and not other things? Now with Doomsday, I kind of understand. Look, I want to see it as much as the next person, but Doomsday is really far away. Like in terms of like when it comes out, they want to promote Spider-Man. They want to promote, other things that they have lined up first before we get to Doomsday. I think that's the reality of it. But they wanted the theaters to get excited, and they had to announce, these are the two things. The only reason this even happened, I think, is because they wanted to announce this Infinity Vision thing. And they wanted to talk about the re-release of Avengers Endgame. They couldn't do that and build the hype on that alone. They needed something else. So that's why they brought the trailer for Doomsday. Now, I've heard through the grapevine that this was the largest and most highly sought after panel presentation at the entire event. Like there was nothing close to this in terms of people waiting to get in.
To touch on the CinemaCon conversation in general, I didn't even know it was a thing until like when they were making the rounds for the Flash. That's when I first got wind of like.
That's when I think they tried to turn it into like a tool for promotion. Was around that time.
And I agree with you in that I'm just gonna say I'm not a fan at all of influencers being invited to CinemaCon. I think it's a stupid idea. Because they've really poisoned the well in terms of conversations surrounding this movie and in comic book films in general. Because you've got that fucking moron who wears a Superman shirt all the time. Let's go!
Oh God, he posted some dumb shit today. Anyway, continue. It was just
he's a fucking moron. That dude tried to give me the stink eye at Comic-Con. I was like, yeah, you can try. He's a fucking clown. But no, man. Like between people like him and other
I agree, Anthony.
influencers. Yeah, I agree. It should be at the very minimum. I don't even think there should be too many journalists there.
Right.
Because the journalists have even gone out of their way to be shitty and spoil shit. I'm looking at you, Scott Mendelson, because fucking they want that attention that this will give them, right?
Well, they also play gatekeepers. That's the other issue, is that they want to say, oh, this is an event for just the industry, but then they gatekeep breadcrumbs to everybody else. And it's like, if it's just for the industry, why are there articles about it? Why are you guys sharing this on social media? Why are influencers there? If it's just for the industry, why are influencers there? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Why would you bring a TikTok influencer to an event for theaters? Like, why would they be there?
and theater
Yeah.
owners. And
Yeah.
again, like I said, like I don't even think the minimal amount of journalists should be present too, because the more people you have there, the more shit's going to leak out. Like
Yes.
all week, it's just been, oh, here's this update from CinemaCon. Here's this update from CinemaCon. And it's just like, cool, man. But do you own a theater? Or are you an exhibitor? Are you part of Paramount?
Yeah.
Are you part of Warner Brothers? No. What the fuck are you doing
Well,
here, then? Being a cheerleader.
Yeah, this is the issue, and this is the argument I got into with several people. There should be no hyper buzz if this is specifically for the industry, for theater owners,
Yes.
for people that work within the industry. We wouldn't be getting any of this at all if it weren't for the fact that they have realized, people at CinemaCon have realized, and the industry has realized, we don't have a spring Comic-Con. We need something to promote our stuff in the spring. CinemaCon is the de facto thing because it already kind of existed as a system. They're just trying to turn it into that. I believe we are very close. Mark my words. We're very close within the next probably 3 to 4 years of CinemaCon becoming very similar to a Comic-Con in the sense that people will be able to pay to go. I'm not going to say it's like cosplay and all of that. I mean, like the average person can pay X amount of dollars to go and be at CinemaCon. I think that's what it's going to be with the next couple of years. That's how I feel about it personally. But my issue is, if you are an influencer at CinemaCon benefiting from the system of let me give breadcrumbs to people, you can't complain when people are like, man, I wish I could be there, because that's what you're doing. Like you're promoting things to the public. Like look at Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Variety. Is this for theater owners? No, this is for everybody else. The theater owners were there. They don't need this. This is for us. And as much as I love it, like I love seeing this stuff, I love getting this information, they need to figure out what CinemaCon actually is. They need to make some sort of like real changes to what that whole fucking event is supposed to be if it's just for the theater industry. Because it's not what it feels like. It's called CinemaCon because it's supposed to be for cinema, for the people that work in the industry. Not everybody else, but that's not really what it is anymore. Anyway, let me get down from my soapbox here.
Keep going. I co-sign everything you just said, my good sir. It's
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what we know from the teaser that came out. I'm going to read through all of this. I've gone through several of them, and I wrote out everything that I think corroborates. I think these are all accurate.
Yes.
So in the trailer, and you can correct me if there's something I leave out in chat, also correct me. We see Xavier's school with the sign on the ground. Narrator says something's coming, something we may not be able to deter. Xavier sees flames coming from the sky, looks scared. Doom is presumably the one who's giving narrative. They say that Robert Downey Jr. doesn't even sound like himself in the role.
He has an accent.
Yeah, and he doesn't take the mask off, which is great. Look, I don't think Doom should be taking his mask off all the time anyway, but why even have him?
Saying that they show him with his scarred face, and he does have his mask off at some point.
Okay, so there is a point in the trailer where the people are saying that. Okay, I feel like, look, people were complaining about having him in the role of Doom. I said last year that he's probably going to have his face covered at least a lot of the time in the movie, but you don't bring Robert Downey Jr. back just to leave him in a mask the whole time. Like that's just not going to happen. It's just a reality of it. Same reason why when Sylvester Stallone played Judge Dredd, they showed his face a million times in the movie. Let's see. It's he's got an accent, like you said. We see a hood. He's got the mask and the hood all on. Then we see the new Avengers Tower. It's got a new logo, and it's an updated Avengers Tower with 3 spires on it now. We see the Fantastic Four, Bucky, Ant-Man, and Captain America. Now, they didn't specify whether this scene is Steve Rogers or Sam Wilson. I'm going to assume it's Sam Wilson based on the characters that are mentioned there. Fantastic Four, Bucky, Ant-Man, Captain America, Sam Wilson is probably the Captain America in that scene. Would you agree with that or not? Okay.
Yeah, because they've often referred to, Steve as Steve. And in one of the descriptions, they say deliberately like Steve reunites with Thor to prove it as such. He, wields Mjolnir. And it's like, it's him. Definitely him.
Then we hear Thor telling stories of his people dying and how this threat is more than anything before. And then he narrates this. He goes, "This is what everybody has said. I have fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than any of us combined, and they died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one. Everything that we sacrificed will be for nothing. I can't do a Chris Hemsworth voice, so it doesn't hit the same way. If we do not stand together, if you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. But mark my words, we're going to need a miracle. That's what he says as the trailer's going on.
I'm trying to find that quote because I've seen it all over. I'm gonna try my best to do a Hemsworth impression. God.
Okay, go for it.
My screen fucking goes black every now and again. It's really strange. I gotta get this checked out. Avengers, Doomsday. Let's see.
While you're looking for that, chat, how are we feeling about CinemaCon in general? I'm curious if anybody in the chat has a similar opinion about it. Okay, go for it.
I fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than all of us put together. They died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one. Everything they've sacrificed will be for nothing if we do not stand together. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters.
There we go. That was great. That was great.
I gotta admit, when it came to the 4 teasers that we got, his got to me. The Steve one and Thor's got to me, but the X-Men one was also pretty. It made me feel like really heavy. But Thor's, when he's praying to his father, the Steve one was okay. I wasn't like jumping out of my seat. The Thor one is the first one where I was like, oh fuck, like we're really doing this, right? Yeah.
Also,
because he's like,
Father, give me strength. I want to return home and give this child warmth.
And it's like, he's really fucking disturbed by Doom.
You know what I love about this? And I know some people would disagree with me. Specifically, there's a couple people that come on the podcast here that disagree. But I am so glad that it seems like we're getting like movies 1 and 2 Thor back, which is... Because I know some people don't like the second Thor movie. I like it. It's not great, but I like the movie. But that movie for me, the first movie and the second movie in Thor were perfect Thor for me. Like those 2 iterations of Thor were good. I didn't mind Thor Ragnarok. I think there was went a little bit too far in some ways. I hated Thor and Thor Love and Thunder. I've said this so many times. I just did not like him in that movie. Even Chris Hemsworth has came out and said that like, yeah, I did too much in that movie. We went a little bit too far with it. So I was glad to see that back. Then we see Cyclops in a new shot. Gambit fights Shang-Chi, both using their powers, and it looks epic, like they're doing some sort of a dance routine, but it's still like a good fight. The Fantastic Four meet Wakandans in a desert, and this is the little clip we saw. We weren't sure where it was, but it's and everybody was like, there's something missing in the background that we weren't seeing, right? Like we knew something was missing. Like, was it a planet? Is it an incursion? No, apparently Namor and the Atlanteans make it a desert because water is being held back, forced away from them. So there's like walls of water around where they're meeting.
Ooh.
So
okay,
it's kind of cool. Yelena is in a room with Reed. And then she literally fights herself, which we end up seeing as Mystique. And not Yelena. Thor's speech is going through this whole time. He uses Stormbreaker on Dr. Doom, who stops it with 2 fingers, apparently. Like this, or he grabs a blade or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when Thor looks freaked out. But then he hears, in the distance, "Hey, pal." And it is someone coming off of the Fantastic Four ship. It is Steve Rogers, who now looks like Thor, apparently. He's got long hair, and he's got a beard. And he calls Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the screen that says Avengers Doomsday, December 18th. So that's the trailer.
Continues. Yep.
Yeah. So thoughts on any of that? I'm very curious what your opinion is on all of that.
I mean, Dr. Doom, I said it before, Dr. Doom is my favorite Marvel villain of all time. Like, granted, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel hero, but when it comes to like big bads in Marvel, Dr. Doom is the cream of the crop, right? And I've also said many times, when they announced Robert Downey Jr. was playing Doom, I was like, that is one of the boldest things you could do, because if you're going to effectively reset everything with Secret Wars, there's no better actor to do it than the one who started the entire universe to begin with.
Okay.
And so just hearing all of this just gives me nothing but, fanboy vibes. And I don't really try and like enter that sphere as much as I used to, because, fanboy bitching is just something I'm not overtly fond of. I don't like, I get shit all the time from Invincible fanboys. I get shit from DC fans because I'm, predominantly a large proponent of what Zack Snyder did. So I get a lot of shit from a lot of people because they think I'm a fucking idiot. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. But when it comes to this, I have nothing but high hopes. Right. I love Dr. Doom, and I love Robert Downey Jr. I think, he's not necessarily the only actor who could pull it off, but I think with what they're doing in this instance, who better to pull it off with than him? And the idea of Steve having long hair, pulling out Mjolnir, proving to Thor, the idea of Thor is apparently the one who's gathering everybody for all of this. And I
love that, because I've always seen him as like the secondary leader of the Avengers, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so after Iron Man is effectively dead and Steve goes off in the past, he's the only one who's left, you know? So him being the one to go to, the new Avengers, to go to Anthony Mackie's Captain America, Ant-Man, an old friend, right? Him being the one to assemble the Avengers this time, I think is actually pretty cool, because, when has Chris Hemsworth ever been at the forefront of an Avengers movie? Right.
I don't think he could have been where he was at the end of like his last run, especially with the trauma he was dealing with after Endgame. So I'm glad to see that he's still dealing with that, but it looks like he's like focused now. He's back and he's like, I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? And I really, really enjoy that aspect of it.
Also,
Lance says, right here.
Oh no, I was going to say that Hemsworth acting in that one teaser for Doomsday completely trumps everything in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah. Oh, and you say it right as Joe arrives, which I just mentioned you, Joe. You showed up right. I honestly just mentioned your name right before you got here.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I was listening to you in the car, but then I got out of the car.
I said there's some people on the podcast that really love Thor: Love and Thunder, literally right before you dropped into the back room. So,
top 10 MCU movies. Of all time.
I know. Actually, I thought you said it was top 5 for you though.
It might be. Okay. It's really, really good. Okay. But I gotta fact check you on one thing I heard in the car. You were saying pretty soon you'll just be able to buy a ticket to CinemaCon. That's the way it's always been. You just buy a ticket.
Oh, so you can just get in anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy expensive though, because it is for the industry. It's not for the general public. So if you want to go, you can go. You can go to their website. You could buy a pass. But like where we might pay like $100 or something for a full weekend at Dragon Con, you're looking at like over $1,000 for the CinemaCon ticket. That's why you are seeing these influencers there. Keep in mind, they're not being invited. It's not like CinemaCon saying, "Come on in, influencers." They're buying their tickets. And
because they're going to make so much money back off of that ticket cost.
And that's why you're only seeing the really big ones like John Campea show up there, because they can afford the price.
Some of them are buying tickets. Some of them have brand deals. Some of them are even getting invited under the press moniker.
Yeah, some of them do fall into the press category, but I'm pretty sure Soups was invited for sure, right? Soups was definitely invited.
Dude can eat my shit. I do not fucking like that dude.
Yeah, so Serenity said it's the same price as San Diego Comic-Con because those are like $2K and up to $5K, I guess.
For $10K
to $5K.
Yeah. If you don't get in through the raffle system, I could see that being the case, because my tickets for all 4 days was about $400.
Yeah, Campea says that the ticket costs $1,500.
Yeah, I priced it out. I wanted to go 1 year, so I'm like, how much is this? And I looked it up, and I'm like, yeah, it's really expensive.
For CinemaCon?
Yeah. It's crazy expensive.
Cody here with the $5 super chat. People don't realize, but a lot of the characters don't know that Sam is Cap, so it'll be a big. Yeah, so that's the other thing is, well, just not just that, but all of the like the Thunderbolts are now the quote unquote the new Avengers, so they don't even know that team exists really. So there's a lot of these little like separate groups now that are teams that we all have to bring them together. Mm-hmm. I suspect in this movie into one big like super Avengers team.
I suspect that Anthony Mackie's Avengers team is probably going to consist of him as Cap, Danny Torres Falcon, or is that the act? No, that's the character, Danny Ramirez. The actor's name is I feel bad
Joaquin
for
something.
Thank you. Yes, Joaquin Torres.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna fucking look it up. I'm just gonna fucking look it up. I don't want to be an asshole because I always try and get my information correct. It's let's see. But anyway, it's gonna be him, Falcon, probably Ant-Man, and I would venture to guess probably Shang-Chi. Those are probably the four characters he's probably gonna have on his side of things.
Well, also Cassie was seen in a trailer
Yes.
apparently, so that's going to be another Avenger probably. Somebody with the Avengers, if I had to guess.
Okay, so the actor, his name is Danny Ramirez, and he plays Joaquin Torres. There we go.
Got it. Okay, so we had it I had it reverse, I guess. Yeah. So there's a lot of characters that have to meet for the first time, or teams that have to meet for the first time. So I think that's really interesting, in my opinion, to bring them all together. I don't know. I got some other opinions. We're going to get into all that here. But thank you, Cody, for the super chat. By the way, we are one super chat away from hitting the goal, I think, in the reloaded chat. So if you guys want to choose one of these options over here, you can pick 1, 2, 3, or 4, and we'll hit the goal. It looks like Darren has appeared.
Hi,
So-
Darren.
Hello.
How's
Hello,
the weather?
Phil. It was shit. Thanks for asking.
I know, but like, how is it now? Is it still shit?
Oh no, actually, it's back and forth.
Wait. Is it storming there?
It's been raining all night. It's been
Oh,
thundering and lightning and
Oh wow. Where are you?
Ohio.
Okay. I got
What is it?
it's glorious in Philadelphia. I just got out
Well-
of the movies. I'm like a perfect night.
You could say it's always sunny. Sorry.
Always
Not at night.
But no. So the weird thing is, in my area, unrelated to anything Marvel or whatever, we are in a bubble because of the El Nino thing. We're in this weird bubble now on the coastline where we are the hottest place in the country right now.
Wow.
It's like 100 degrees here. It's really, really hot. But they also said it's going to be like that for us pretty much through till December because of the
Oh, wow.
weird Gulf water or air water, whatever they call it. Anyway, I'm not a weatherman, but that's what they were saying. So,
Super windy here in California. It was really windy today.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And also they're saying that this next, like the winds from this upcoming storm could generate bad fires in California. So it's like, oh, great. That's just awesome. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about characters leading into this Doomsday movie. I don't know, Darren and Joe, did you hear the description of what happened in the Doomsday trailer? Do you kind of know what happened?
I've seen.
No, I tried to avoid it because
Okay.
I didn't know if it was going to be too spoilery or not.
It's not really spoilery, I guess, but
Okay.
Darren, you were also saying, yeah.
I've heard some things. I think the thing that got me the most excited was one of the Young Avengers officially being announced.
Cassie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that excites me. That really
So
excites
Cassie's going to be in there. Yeah, so Joe, basically, I won't tell details of speeches or whatever, but we see the X-Men, some of the X-Men, we see the Fantastic Four, we see the Wakandans, we see Namor, we see Doom, we see Steve Rogers. It's just a collection of people that are in the movies, pretty much, as in the trailer.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm hearing a lot about, and Lance, I think, mentioned something about the racist stuff or whatever earlier. Where did he say this at? Let me scroll back up. He says, prepare for the people to call the Russos a Disney racist because, well, it's odd that Anthony isn't there or being mentioned at all. Yeah, so in the at CinemaCon, they brought, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. in because he's playing Doom, so they wanted him to be there. We have Kevin Feige, we have the Russo brothers, and was Chris Hemsworth there?
No,
I
it
don't
was
think he
just
was.
Downey and Evans, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and Chris Evans. But no Anthony Mackie. We know he's not busy. Like, no shade. We know he's not busy doing anything right now. So no Anthony Mackie, nobody else. So they made a selective choice on which people they wanted to bring to CinemaCon. They chose Robert Downey Jr. That makes sense to me. He's playing Doom. Obviously, you want him to be there. But they chose Steve Rogers instead of Sam Wilson. Now, there are people speculating that this is bad and we don't know where this is going to go. Darren, I know that we have talked, you know, Phil hasn't been on the stream when we've done this, and I think Joe, I don't think you were here when we discussed it, but Darren and I have both talked about the fact that in the comics, there have been points in time where multiple people have the mantle of Captain America. We know that. They've held the mantle at different times. But one of the things we see recently is Sam and Steve teaming up as characters in the comics and doing things together. And we talked about, Darren and I have talked about it. How does that feel for Sam and for everybody that has been following that journey, for him to finally get to be the leader of the Avengers and then immediately get replaced or co-lead with Steve Rogers? Is this a good look for Marvel, or do you think anybody care? I'm going to say the bad part out loud. I think that most people are going to just not give a fuck.
This was my worry, like, movie itself aside. Like, I still think Sam is going to be the lead of this movie. I think this is Sam's movie still. But from the marketing, every time they, like, describe this movie, they talk about Chris Evans, Downey, Hemsworth, and I'm like, that's where we were 10 years ago. Like, we spent all these years building and building and building. It is a little frustrating. And I said when Evans was officially announced, when everyone comes out of this movie, who are they going to mention? Are they going to mention Anthony Mackie? Unfortunately, I think they're going to mention Chris Evans and Downey and Hemsworth and, you know, those guys.
Well,
and,
unfortunately for Anthony, because I don't dislike Chris Evans or any of those guys. So, but I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a bad spot. Does anybody else want to chime in on that? Because
I will say, you said Anthony Mackie's not doing anything right now. I did just a quick Google search, and apparently Twisted Metal Season 3 did start filming this month.
Okay.
Fair
enough. I mean, I feel like a one-day trip to promote Doomsday is probably something he could have pulled off, but
this isn't like a one-time issue either. Like, every time they talk about the movie, they're talking about Chris Evans over.
It's true. That is true.
Which I understand, like, from a marketing, like, perspective. I get more people are going to be excited for Chris Evans. He's been doing this for 10 years. I get it. I do. It's just
He's not in any of the marketing. He wasn't in any of the teasers that we got in December.
No.
He's not been in any of the marketing materials that they've done for Doomsday so far. It's literally been all the OG people and a few of the new people. And Sam is not one of them.
I stand by it. And again, it's not their fault. They had to deal with COVID and writer strikes and the Jonathan Majors. But I still wish we got a couple Avengers movies before this. Like, I think that would take away so many of my issues with this.
Oh, I've said for a while that there should have been Avengers movies in phases 4 and 5, 100%.
Yeah. In like a world where the world didn't crumble like 2 times in a row. Yeah, I fully agree.
But I do think it's really weird to me because we know that Chris and Anthony are friends outside of the like not just friends, like they are good friends. They go to sports events together, they hang out, they're not just acquaintances. I don't know if I could believe that Chris would come in and pull the rug out from Anthony without there being some consideration for that in place before he does that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'd imagine they talked. And, like, maybe this is me just putting too much credit on, like, humanity. But, like, I'd imagine there was probably a conversation of, like, hey, I might be doing this, you know. I don't know how it's going to go down, you know. How do you feel about this kind of thing? And I do think, you know, I will be curious what it's like post Secret Wars. Like, are we going to... Will he stay on board for more of these Captain America movies? Are we going to get a new Captain America? Are we going to go back to just having Sam? Like, I'll be interesting. I do think it's also very interesting that they are yet to call him Captain America, which I think is a good thing, right? I do think it's very important that Sam.
I mean, there's other aliases that he could pick that he's been over the years. He's got Nomad. There's a few other ones that he's been.
Yeah. I would not be shocked in the slightest, and this is as a casual comic person who's not read the comics, but like there is that panel that people bring up all the time where it's like, he's Captain America, I'm just Steve these days, and I would not be shocked if they do that point for point in either this movie or even like a future Captain America movie or something.
We'll see. Anybody else have any thoughts on that pairing before we move on? Like the idea of having 2 Captain Americas, I guess. Yeah. I like I said, I think, Darren, we've talked about it, but I believe we are in the minority of people who really care about that, I think. Unfortunately, I think there are people that just don't care how Steve comes back as long as he comes back, I think is where we are.
Ultimately, I think as long as Sam gets us doing these movies, I will be okay. Like, I just want Sam to feel like Captain America and get his limelight and not be completely overshadowed by Steve. which is why I hope they're separated in this movie. Like, I don't want Sam and Steve in the same scene in this particular movie, because I think Sam needs to thrive on his own. If, you know, Steve just comes on in like, yeah, he's the leader now. Of course, it's, you know, it's Steve Rogers. So I think keeping them separated, I think, will be smart. But I'm curious, based on one of the things we heard about this trailer, like, he interacts with the character. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I did see this today when they were talking about Disney and the movies and things like that. They posted this. Where is it at? How did I lose it? Oh, here it goes. People talk about Disney being dead. Disney in 2025 was $6.6 billion box office in 2025. I mean, that's not a dead company. That's a good box office for a year.
No.
For Disney. And they talked about the projects they had that were in the $1 billion club, in 2025. And I think it's really important to remember that Disney is not they're not on life support. You know what I mean? This isn't a company that's on life support.
Well, I don't think anybody with any credibility ever said that Disney was dead. It's coming from people who have an agenda.
Yeah.
It would be incredibly hard with the IPs that they have to not make a profit every year. Yeah. Like, they would have to be like tripping over their shoelaces every single year. I don't know.
Well, the reason why I brought this up is because they have these massive layoffs. We talked about it on Tuesday. But this is even crazier. Are you ready to see how we're not going to get into politics, but I do want to say because of AI. I mean, it's very clear the departments they're laying off, they're subsidizing their workload with AI. Like, there's other reasons. AI is one of them. The other is healthcare. And I have proof of that. I said on Tuesday, I think healthcare is the big one. They don't want to pay for employees' healthcare. This is why a lot of these companies do work by gig, right? So it's AI, it's healthcare. Here's what was said about them. As per the Wall Street Journal, Marvel leaves Georgia in favor of a studio outside London where Disney has a long-term lease. Spider-Man Brand New Day and the next two Avengers movies are being filmed there. Reasons for the move include cheaper labor and studios not being required to subsidize medical expenses. Because the UK has universal health care. So they don't have to pay for it, because if you work or you live in the UK, you get health care.
But didn't they do this a couple of years ago? Like, a couple of years ago, I remember hearing they were leaving Georgia and going to Australia. They were going to be shooting everything in Australia.
They do have a studio in Australia, but they didn't leave Georgia completely. When they did that, they just opened a separate. That was because of COVID, because the restrictions or people were not as sick, and the restrictions were different where they were filming at in Australia and New Zealand. It says Marvel's departure has fueled fears of job losses in Georgia. While studios typically fly in stars, directors, and department heads to shooting locations, the rest of the production largely relies on local crew and resources. The studio's departure emphasizes a drastic shift in Georgia's film industry, which sucks for Georgia because a lot of people move there to be a part of the film industry. And now you've got one of the biggest studios in the world saying we're out. It's a 50% drop in production spending. This is bad for Hollywood in the United States. Yeah. It won't affect movies worldwide in the sense that we won't see blockbuster films anymore. They're just not getting filmed in Georgia. And this is because of the constant, and I hate to get political, the government fucking with stuff like this and making it harder for these companies to actually do what they want to do. They jump in and they go, you know what? We're just going to make things really fucking awful for you. We're going to tariff everything. We're going to fuck with people's health care. And this is what happens. So even when you have a company that makes $6.6 billion, they can still make more if they go and film in a location where they don't have to pay for people's health care. And we are the only country in the world at our level that doesn't have some form of universal health care. Yeah. We're the only one. So
it makes me so sick because, like, number one, this came from top down. This is Josh DeMarco, and it's like, oh, your first act as CEO is to lay off 1,000 people, especially from one of your largest sub studios in Marvel. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Number one,
It's a bad look. Yeah.
yeah, it's bad look, and he's totally just like, look at me, guys. We got the new Avengers movie coming out. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It's super fuck shit. And then I think about the whole Paramount Warner Brothers merger, and I'm like, we're gonna see the same fucking thing happen if that goes through too.
Well, that's look. Even if we're going to go the low end, right? We'll say 25% of the industry goes away. That's on top of the 50% that Georgia just lost. So we're losing another 25%. Top end is probably more. It's probably closer to 40%. It's probably closer to that number because we're talking about Warner Brothers. Like they don't want to keep redundancy. And several people have said. The other thing is we're talking about Paramount. They kept reiterating a 45-day window and 30 movies a year. Fam! 45 days? Look, I love that, but 30 movies a year with 45-day windows each? Fucking burn your money.
Overlap, yeah.
That's
David
self-destruction of a studio.
Yeah, David Ellison's a fucking moron.
There's no way they make their 30. I call full bullshit on that.
Assuming they even merge in the first place. God.
Yeah.
Well, they're still trying to go against that. Well, I think that there's going to be, if it does happen, there's going to be some sort of concession. I don't know what it is, but something's going to have to give because way too many people in the industry are against it. Way too many states are against it. It's just not something that looks good for anybody. And I think the other issue is when you have 1,000 actors that say they won't work for you if you do this, that's a problem.
Yeah,
we're talking some of the biggest actors in the industry. And I know a lot of the chud channels and the hater channels are like, oh, well, they'll just be out of work. No, you don't understand. There's a union. There's a union, meaning that if you have all of those actors in solidarity, they could literally starve Paramount and Warner Brothers completely and take all of their projects to other studios.
Yep.
So that's a problem. They have the power here, not the company. The company does not have the power in this case. Because there's options. There's other options. I am sure Netflix, because Ted Sarandos came out and said he's looking to make more movies this year for Netflix. I'm sure they would love to pick up some of these movies that Paramount doesn't want, throw it on a streaming service, and give it a 3-week window in theaters.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, we're going to pick up all these actors and these stories anyway, whether they go to Warner Brothers or not. Mm-hmm. It's risen to 2,000. Yeah. Come on. But again, I want to point out, a 45-day window sounds fantastic for movies. I'm always a supporter of keeping them in theaters a longer amount of time. However, when you've got to put out 30 movies a year, that means you're never going to have one movie in theaters by itself. Every movie is going to have another movie overlapping it from your studio.
I can't understand why they're not all, 45 days. I don't understand why they're not all clamoring to get back to 90 days. Because the industry had its greatest success when they were at 90 days. Everyone, the studios, the theaters, everyone did better when they were. And the only reason 90 days went away was because of COVID, which is now, not a concern. It's like, why would they not want to go back to the thing that worked for them?
I think because I think the streaming side has made them greedy. That's what I think it is. I think
but they could be more greedy if they had the 90-day window because you're not taking away the streaming. You're not taking none of that.
But they're sharing ticket revenue with theaters. On streaming, you don't have to share any of that.
Well, I know, but that's still there. All you're doing is taking money away. You're not adding anything. You're just
want that relevancy though. While the movie is still hot on the plate, you won't be like, you haven't seen it yet? You haven't seen it yet? Now it's on our streaming service. Or, now it's on VOD. You can watch it at home. You can watch it at home. I'm not saying that's right, but I can get it to an extent. There's also a lot more movies now.
Yeah.
Right? There are a lot more movies.
Well, they said Netflix is making more movies now than they've ever made.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see where it goes. I'm not too happy with any of that, but we'll see. I'm going to put the widget back up. You guys, we are one super chat away from you guys getting to pick one of these things. So if you would like to choose, go ahead. We need one more super chat of any tier in the Reloaded channel, any tier, any amount in the Reloaded channel. And
I feel bad for number 4, so I'm going to vote for that.
That's the most interesting one to me.
Worst movies of all time?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna watch a trailer while we wait to see if we hit that goal for a movie that I'm sure everyone is excited for, which is Street Fighter.
Oh boy.
No.
There's been so much talk about this trailer. I can't wait to give my opinion because I've seen so many people discussing it. So before we watch the trailer, though, I know Phil very familiar with Street Fighter, correct? Like you know a lot about it, the game, right?
I know Mortal Kombat more than I know Street Fighter.
Okay. Mortal Kombat looks good, right? Like that looks good this year? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't say the same about Street Fighter.
Okay. I was going to say, we'll get to that. Joe, obviously, you might know the old school Street Fighter, but you're not a big gamer, so you probably haven't played any of the new games, right? Any of the newer Street Fighters?
I haven't played a Street Fighter game in years.
Okay. But you're familiar with the game, though, right? Like, you know the premise of it and everything?
Yeah, it's just basically Mortal Kombat, but with different characters.
And Darren he's not a gamer, so
nope.
Okay.
I haven't touched Street Fighter.
So the reason why I did that is I want to see how everybody feels about this trailer, depending on how connected they are to the source material. Because I think Street Fighter is very dependent on either grabbing the casual audience on the story or nostalgia bait for the gamers. So we'll see. Yeah. Here's the trailer for Street Fighter. We're gonna hide the poll here. And let's go.
1. I got good news, y'all. Gathered here are the world's best fighters.
I won't deny I'm a street fighter.
But only one of which will be crowned the world champion of Street Fighter. You win. Perfect.
You're not a warrior anymore, you're a sideshow.
What's up, MTV? I'm Ken Masters.
This is your shot at redemption.
Were you gonna show?
The path I'm on now is not one of combat.
Maybe it's Ken's turn to be champion.
How did you find me?
I want to point out I've not had a trailer in a while that has like multiple copyrighted songs just back to back to back to back to back. Like this one is so many copyrighted songs. I just want to throw that out there.
I'm paid to find champions, even if they're lost.
Good to see you, old friend. Still reckless.
I said, hey, what's going on?
Sit down. This tournament is not what it seems. We have to be ready.
Everyone keeps going on about your thighs.
What's going on?
I don't see what the big deal is.
What's going on?
Bitch, please!
That was some abracadabra shit.
Oh, what's going on?
I'm positive that a fireball came out of Ryu.
Go it, Ryu!
Perfect. All right. Anybody? I'm going to give my opinion last. Anybody want to jump in about what they think of this?
I'll go second to last.
I went in with a 0 expectation on this. And I gotta say, it looks surprisingly entertaining.
Okay, I'm hearing that opinion as well. Darren, any thoughts on this?
As a casual, I have no idea what was happening 90% of that trailer. Like, that's such a chaotic trailer. Like, I felt like... I don't know. Like I don't know what I just watched. like some of the action looks okay. There's probably some good action set pieces, but it like definitely feels like it's trying to hit the people who like grew up with it, which is fine. You know, I know a lot of franchises do that, but like just from my POV, like I'm like I don't care. Like there's nothing for someone who doesn't like Street Fighter to care about this, in my opinion.
See, I'm not going to agree with that though, because I'm not a fan of Street Fighter. Like, I don't give two craps about Street Fighter, but like I thought it looked entertaining.
Fair enough.
I don't know who. I couldn't name any of those characters. Sure. I mean, I've seen the guy with the big hair before, but I don't know what his name is. But you know.
Wait, this one right here, this guy?
No, the guy with the like tall, like Anson Mount.
Oh, you're talking about Guile, the guy that played Guile.
Was that Johnny Knoxville? Looked like Johnny Knoxville in one.
No, this is Noah. This is Noah. Oh, it's Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
No, that's Noah Centineo, but Cody Rhodes is playing Guile.
Oh, that's his name. Gotcha. Yeah, he's Gold Dust's son, right? Was the original guy? No. Wait, Gold Dust was his wrestling name, right? Years ago.
That's Noah Centineo. That's Adam Smash.
No. We're very confused here. Guile, Cody Rhodes wasn't his wrestling name years ago Gold Dust? Wasn't that the character?
I thought it was Stardust.
I thought it was Gold. Maybe I'm wrong.
Is it Gold? It might have been one or the other. I don't.
This is the actor that played in Black Adam, though.
Yeah, he was Adam. He was good in that. He was supposed to be He-Man too.
And like every Netflix star for like 5 years there.
Yeah.
I saw one of my favorites. I saw David Dashmalian in there. Yeah. He's always good.
Yeah. Sorty says just Google it. I'm done. I'm not even trying to figure it out anymore. It doesn't really matter to me,
dude.
Yeah, so Phil, you said you wanted to go before me. Give your thoughts?
I think this movie looks like fucking dog water. I'm dead serious. Like Ken, who knows Centennial's playing, is my favorite Street Fighter character. I hate that they've turned him into an MTV celebrity. Ryu being this reclusive, I'm not fighting anymore, but goes to pull Ken out of it. What the fuck ever. David Desmalchin is 1000% miscast as M. Bison. Fucking Jason Momoa is playing.
Who's his agent? Whoever his agent is, like that dude needs good money.
I mean, everything else he's been in, I liked him in. Matter of fact, I don't even like the Suicide Squad, but I like him as Polka Dot Man. I think he's really good in that movie as Polka Dot Man. But you know, this is M. Bison is just not David Desmalchin and vice versa. Like they couldn't be two opposites. It's insane to me. The thing that really gets me about this trailer is like, I don't think any of the personalities they've given any of these characters gel with me at all.
I don't think they gel with the characters from the game, to be honest. Like I don't think that any of them do. Maybe Chun-Li, maybe a little bit, but
when she says "bitch, please," I'm like, oh my
God. And I'm like, what is that? So, am I the old guy here that doesn't get the reference, or is it just not a joke that makes any sense? Because I'm like, what is that even? Like, what is that about? Is there a game where she says that? Because I played almost every Street Fighter. I don't remember any game where she said "bitch, please."
Nope, not once.
You know what it's giving a little bit? It's giving Minecraft a little bit to me.
It is giving Minecraft.
Like, it kind of just feels like reference, thing. And
you want to hear a hot take? Here's a hot take. Cody Rhodes is a fucking downgrade from Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So,
but it was the same thing with I'm sorry, it was the same thing with Minecraft too, though. Like, I walked into Minecraft. I didn't know a damn thing about Minecraft. I've never.
Did you like Minecraft?
Yeah, it was surprisingly good. Well, actually, I don't even know that it was surprising.
That tracks.
Because the director has such a good track record that it's like, well, no, you know, like I always say, you get a good filmmaker. Good filmmakers make good movies.
Yeah. Well, let me get my thoughts on this. Do I think it looks like a good Street Fighter movie? No. Like, I don't think it looks like, if I'm thinking about a Street Fighter movie. Like, you have Mortal Kombat, which I feel like is definitely an upgrade from the first movie, and I feel like it really nails Mortal Kombat, right? This, to me, misses the mark on Street Fighter in a lot of ways. However, I do think this movie is going to pull in a casual audience because of it being... Because let me tell you why. To me, it feels like a Will Ferrell movie or something like that. It feels very like... You said Johnny Knoxville. I could even say it feels like a Johnny Knoxville movie. It feels very like that type of film. But I think that the hardcore fans, or at least a lot of them, are going to have to temper their expectations, I guess, on this to to probably love it. I do like some of the casting. Serenity here says we have to see the context of the fight to know why she said it. I'm loving everything this movie is showing: acting, casting, tone, style, costume, makeup. No complaints. This is the movie I asked for. So I think a lot of people are also going to mirror what you said. I think I took notes here about some of the people that talked about the film. Let me scroll down here, see what people said about it. Whoops, I went too far. Say that a lot. I went too far.
Also, the way he says Hadoken bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I just mention something really quickly? October is kind of stacked. There's a new movie every weekend. Like October 2nd is Digger. October 3rd is Tom and Jerry. October 9th is The Social Reckoning. October 16th is Street Fighter. October 23rd is Clayface. Then you're going into like November and you're hitting like Hunger Games and stuff like that.
So there's a throttle of movies there, like trying to bottleneck, I guess, of movies there in October. But I want to point out a couple things also. It's a very campy movie. It clearly is a comedy. I mean, I can't imagine it being anything but a comedy at this point, based on what we saw in the trailer.
See, I wouldn't call that a comedy. I think, I mean, it looks comedic, but like it doesn't look like it's Waka Waka comedy. It looks like it's.
That's a fair statement, but I think every scene had a joke.
Yeah, damn near.
I don't think there was any scenes without a joke. You're muted, Darren.
There's like a lot of different kinds of comedies, though. Like this looks like action comedy to me.
Yeah.
Let me. I think. Look, I think that this movie is not trying to fix the problems that Street Fighter had in the beginning with that first film or anything like that. I think this movie is literally, because if you look at the casting, and I think somebody said this is miscast the movie. Wait, did somebody I think super chat? No, hold on. Yeah, Cody here. Chill super chat. This is miscast the movie. I think like half of this cast to me is miscast, to be honest. At least half of it, maybe more.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know. I'm not judging. Obviously, you guys know I don't judge a movie based on the trailer. But for me, the trailer feels like it's trying to win over fans that aren't looking for a serious Street Fighter movie.
Yep.
Because there's nothing in this that feels serious to me. Even Ryu doesn't feel serious to me.
Which, like, we talked about this last year, Eric, a lot with like Minecraft and like Lilo and Stitch and stuff like that, where it's like kind of what people are craving right now is like ridiculous, over-the-top comedies where they can like shut their brain off and meme a little bit, which I don't love. I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes that can work. Sometimes, a movie like this can work, but
is this a $1 million movie?
Isn't that the only route you could go with a movie like this? Like, there's no plot. The story is this guy fights that guy.
Well, that's the same thing with Mortal Kombat, but they tried to create a story around Mortal Kombat. So,
and I would argue they failed.
Well, but I will also say that Street Fighter in the later iterations of it, like the more recent ones, you can play story modes that actually gives characters like story.
Yeah, and the same thing happens for Mortal Kombat as well. It's not always just a tournament. There is some elements, like for example, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance is the game where Shang Tsung murders Liu Kang, and Liu Kang comes back, I think, in Armageddon or one of the other ones as like a zombie. So there are story beats in the Mortal Kombat franchise, whereas this, you can do a story mode, but it's only pertinent to each character, and you get like a little bit of backstory at the very end once you finish the gauntlet. But
Joe, you and I, if we, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Phil.
Just real quick, there is no like through line hard, core lore for Street Fighter.
I was gonna say, Joe, for you and I, we go back to like Street Fighters 1, 2, 3, the Alpha games. The stories were literally just scenes in between fights, and that's why it was so hard to create a story around it. But you get into like the modern Street Fighter games, they give like there's full on like story modes that you can play.
Street Fighter 4, I think, is when that first started.
Yeah. So, but before we move on from this, $1 billion movie, not $1 billion movie.
Billion?
Oh, no way.
Not.
No way.
I don't think so.
I think it might do respectable. I don't think that they're looking at a bomb here, but
I think between this and Clayface, they'll probably have a 1 and 2 spot at the box office for Halloween. This
Yeah.
will, get kids to get costumes, and Clayface will probably lean more to the horror crowd. So
Also depends on the budget.
So okay, so
true.
I just double checked. There's no official budget, but apparently the starting budget for this was $30 million.
I don't believe that.
Not with a CGI Blanca. There's no way.
No.
There's no fucking way.
No.
And it's Paramount too.
It looks expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's not cheap. Like if it's a high budget movie, then I'm like, it might not do as well as we want it to. But if it's lower budget, then I could see it. It depends.
Clayface has like a $50-60 million budget.
Oh,
Like that.
Clayface is gonna make bank.
That's the hope.
Clayface is gonna do like on Halloween weekend, low budget, or it's gonna do great.
That's the hope.
So I want to say that we did hit the goal, and so you guys got to vote in the Reloaded chat. Actually, anybody can vote on this one, which is what I love about it. And you have picked with 50% top 3 heroes who are morally gray. So meaning characters, heroes that make questionable decisions is what you guys chose. So thank you guys for voting in the poll. I appreciate it. All right, so we got one more thing to talk about, but let's do the super chat here from Lone Wolf. Jealous super chat. DM my thoughts on the trailer. So this is what Lone Wolf had to say about Street Fighter. Lone Wolf says it knows what it is and it's having fun with it. I'll agree with that. It's such a silly and dumb franchise in the best way possible. It's silly like how much it's leaning into it. They're having fun with it, and taking it too serious would not work. It looks like it's made for fans by fans, and I've heard that from a lot of people as well. So I do think that they are trying not to make the same mistakes that the first movie made, which was look campy and funny, but then try to be somewhat serious with some of the characters, which we'll see if, like, to be honest, this movie looks like it could have been a Taika Waititi movie or something like that, where it's just so crazy.
Yeah.
Some people are going to love that. They're going to go in and they're going to love it. Look, Taika Waititi movies make like, as much as we talk about it, Thor: Love and Thunder made like $750 million. So
I've only ever seen one bad Taika Waititi movie. Next goal wins.
I've never seen a Taika Waititi movie.
It's called what? Wait, I didn't hear you.
Next goal wins.
Oh, I've never heard that one.
It's terrible.
I think I also think it comes down to nuance. Like in some ways, this trailer, in only the good ways, not all of it, but like it kind of has this Cobra Kai energy, right? Where like
it does. That's for
Cobra Kai is ridiculous sometimes, right? It is sometimes stupidly crazy, but it works because it's nuanced. It works because for every stupid moment, it has these really serious, down-to-earth moments that keep it grounded in itself. If the whole show was just them like doing school fights and flipping over things and doing it wouldn't work. It works because of nuance. So if a movie like this can find its quiet moments, can find its nuance, then maybe this craziness can balance each other out. I didn't get that from the trailer. Like the trailer just gave me the like, oh, this is crazy, which I know the trailer is not.
Taika Waititi movies aren't silly and funny. They absolutely are, but I didn't say that as a negative.
I don't think I'd want to see, Darren, what you're describing. I don't think I'd want to see that in this movie. Like Cobra Kai kind of takes place in a real world. This looks more like a fantasy world. Like, I think I don't. If we had, I would be disappointed if we had moments like that in a movie like this. Like I'm going in looking for something kind of cartoonish.
So, Joe, so did this trailer win you over, Joe? Like you're?
Oh yeah, no, I'll go see this movie. Like this is a movie that was not on my radar at all. I'll go see this.
I think it goes for any movie. That, like the fantasy aspect is like that's completely fine. But if any movie is doing like nonstop bits for like 2 hours straight, I don't personally think that works for any movie, in my opinion. Like too much of a good thing in any movie will ruin a movie. And I'm not saying this movie's bad. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know, but that's just kind of the energy I gave off. And I know we disagree on these movies, but that's the issue I have with like Love and Thunder. It's like 2 hours of just bit, and no time to like
I told
agree
Joe
with that.
after the goat screamed one time, I was over the joke, and then it just kept going. But Joe loves that, right? You love the goat screaming, right? That's something
Oh
you
yeah,
thought
they
was
could have had the
hilarious.
goat scream 12 more times, and that it wouldn't have been enough.
That is,
but Thor: Love and Thunder wasn't just bit either, because like that movie had a lot of like serious undertones.
Well,
about,
the
like,
Jane Foster stuff for
cancer.
sure.
Yeah,
The Jane Foster, yeah.
There was a lot of heart in that movie.
But
Like,
by the way, the Jane Foster story was my favorite story in that movie. That was the one that I really liked in that film.
I think for me, the favorite story, and I know it really doesn't show up until the end, and spoiler alert for Love and Thunder if you haven't seen it, the thing that really touched me was him with his daughter at the end.
The daughter, yeah.
And I wanted to see more of that. I'm like, give me Thor 5 where he and his daughter are going off on adventures. I want that now. Like that was me walking out of the theater.
Well, I think she's going to be a part of Doomsday. I do think she's going to be part of that story. So, what were you going to say, Darren? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier.
It's fine. We don't have to go into Love and Thunder. I feel like we do it every single week. We don't have to do it.
Okay,
again.
well, we can move on. Okay, all right. So,
yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. So here we go. We didn't have to wait long for this. Remember when I said we're not going to get more Star Trek TV because they want to bring it to movies? I said this. No, Eric, you're so wrong. People in the comment section, you're not. How could you possibly know that? Well, you can hand me the W because they said that at CinemaCon, Star Trek is getting a brand new movie. It's not a Kelvinverse movie. This was confirmed through Paramount. This isn't a clickbait article. That the project is in development with an entirely new cast, a new story, separate from the Chris Pine-led timeline, with Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves directors attached. That's who's going to be making the first movie for Star Trek under Paramount. Because they need money. See how this works? They are bleeding money. They don't want to spend millions of dollars per episode. They want to make one movie and then make a bunch of money off of the movie. It's not animated, it's live action. See you later, Reed. Have a good night. Darren, you're not a big Star Trek person, so this doesn't really matter much to you. Phil, are you a big Star Trek person or no?
I mean, not really. I covered the Star Trek stuff back in 2024 at San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm not a huge Trek person by any means. I'm more
so I
of a
guess
Star Wars guy.
yeah, Joe and I would be the biggest Star Trek fans on the panel then. So my thing here is that I loved Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, one of the most underrated movies that came out in the last 5 years. I really, really love that movie. I love the story in it, all that's great. I'm still upset that we're not going to be getting Star Trek on TV for a while. That bothers me. I know we have Strange New Worlds coming up, and we have another season of Starfleet Academy, which I'm looking forward to that. But moving them directly to films, I think is a mistake because, in my opinion, as much as I've loved Star Trek movies over the years, Star Trek works better on TV than it does in movies.
I can agree to that.
That's my own personal opinion. Yeah, I think Star Wars is better as a theatrical experience, but I think Star Trek is better as a TV experience. That's my opinion. Joe, what do you think about this news?
well, there's nothing new here, is there? I mean, what we knew that the Dungeons and Dragons guys were developing the new movie.
Right.
So it's like, is there a new wrinkle to it?
They're just we can scroll through this article here, but that was the gist of it. They just kind of confirmed that this is the plan. They're not going to do. This was today at CinemaCon, so it was just yesterday. Let's see here. Yeah, it was November is when they announced the directors, Goldstein and Daly writing it or whatever. But this is them responding directly to, I guess, questions about the TV side of it, which means that we know that contract with that they had with any of the shows is done. They're not going to continue with any of them, probably.
They're auctioning off literally all the costumes and props used on Discovery, Picard, Strange New World, and Starfleet Academy. I was looking at the auction today, and you know what? The stuff's pretty affordable too. You could buy one of Michael Burnham's screen-used costumes. Bidding starts at $100.
Yeah,
and that's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
So no, they're not doing anything with TV. They're getting rid of everything.
Yeah, but I'm just asking you, as like you and I both enjoyed Starfleet Academy. You liked it a little bit more than I did, but we both liked it. I've liked almost all of the 2017 shows up till now. Some of them more than others, but I think they've all had their merits personally. How do you feel that because Paramount is bleeding money and they can't afford to make Star Trek for TV anymore, how do you feel that we're just moving to movies now? Like, what's your opinions on that?
I mean, this is kind of and
it's a new timeline. It's a new timeline, by the way. This is a.
I don't think that's been confirmed yet.
Well, they said in the article that this is not part of the Kelvin timeline.
Right. So
it's a new timeline.
It could be a new timeline. It could be the prime timeline.
But they would say that, right?
Not necessarily.
I feel like if they say that this is not going to be the Kelvin verse, then they're confirming that it's also not the prime timeline because they're not saying one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this could still be I think it could be prime.
Fair enough. I just feel like if it was the prime timeline, they would say we're taking TV to the movies and we're going to be doing that. I feel like they want to restart everything. I think
they previously said it was going to not be related to any previous TV show.
Yeah.
So that just to me, that doesn't necessarily mean new timeline. That could just mean new shit, new crew.
Let me throw something out for you, Joe. From a business standpoint, does it make more sense to start fresh to bring in new people or continue with a 60-year-old timeline?
I say both. I
Really?
think if you put in, because first of all, you are going to want the core fans to come back.
I think all core Star Trek fans are going to go see it, whether it's prime timeline or not.
They I don't know, maybe.
I'm not saying it's not going to be controversial, but I think most of them will. I think if you do a core, I'm going to let you speak, Darren. I see you down there want to say something, but I think if you're going to make it the main timeline, you're going to have people that are going to pick it apart tooth and nail. The easiest thing for them to do is start fresh. That's just my opinion on it.
I think that's going to piss people off too. Here's the thing. Continuity doesn't have to be a burden. If you set it on a new crew, a new ship, new crew, it doesn't mean that the things that came before didn't happen. It just means you don't have to tell those stories.
Look, Thuggish Ruggish Dome. I like the directors of the Dungeons and Dragons movie, so I do like those guys. I think they did a great film. I don't know what this is going to be because we know very little about it, but it could absolutely be a disaster. Darren, you wanted to chime in as someone who's not a big Trekkie?
Yeah, I mean, like this would be the best way to get me to go watch this movie. Like I know we preach against the whole homework idea when it comes to Marvel, but like I've never watched Star Wars or Star Trek. I've always been afraid because I'm like, there's so much, right? It's always
a lot.
There's a barrier to entry. If it's valid or not, like I do agree with you, Joe. Like you can do a lot in continuity without it being a thing, but there's still a stigma to it where like, well, I haven't seen the last 60 years of Star Trek. Why would I start now? Kind of idea. But as they market it as new Star Trek, new beginning, chapter 1, get on board right now. From a financial point of view, I think this is probably their best
Darren, you could buy your ticket, go to this movie, and not know anything about Star Trek. That would be the best part for you as a newbie.
I'd love to jump on. Like I always like exploring fandoms that people have loved for so many years, and this is one that I've never dived into. So I definitely think it's smart to start fresh with something like that.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Here's the thing, though. That's not the direction the industry's been going in. Like, do we really think that these guys, the Ellisons, are going to be like leaders? And like right now, the trend is legacy sequels. The trend is you don't put a number in the title. You call the movie Star Trek, but it's in the same universe. Like that's what we got. That's your Scream. That's your I know what you did that summer.
I think this is a little bit of hopefulness on your side, Joe. I honestly do because
I don't give a shit. I don't have a horse in this race.
No, I know. But I'm saying like we talk about the Ellisons. If the Ellisons are playing against wokeness, this is the perfect time for them to start a new universe that does everything the Chuds don't want it, like everything they've said it's not. They could make it a completely different universe where it's not like a communistic society. It's not utopian. They could do that.
Here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to they're going to ride the fence. I think they're going to make a movie that doesn't say, "Hey, we're against that stuff." But just doesn't mention it.
But they can't do that by staying in the same universe, though. That's the problem.
I don't know about that. I think that you just don't have to mention. I think it's going to be an action. I think it's going to be an action film. Like I think it's just going to be an action. Yes. And you know what? I think it's probably going to be a pretty good one because of the guys they haven't involved in it. Right. I don't know. Right. That's not necessarily where I would take it, but
Well, that was one of the criticisms of the other movies was that they had too much action and not enough exploration in it. So,
but you know what? That was, and the Ellisons were behind that too, by the way. But that was disingenuous though,
right.
Because if you looked at the Star Trek movies, because people were always like, "Oh, Star Trek always had like this moral, more like a morality play to it." And it's like, yeah, sometimes, not always, and the movies usually not. I mean, yeah, you had Star Trek 4 had the like ecological, you shouldn't drive a what do you call it, a species to extinction because they're here for a purpose. Had that. Star Trek 6 had the allegory for the fall of communism, but Wrath of Khan's just a revenge story. It's like the movies have never really, like, that was the sort of the TV show did that. The movies never weren't really as big on that.
Before we move on from this, though, Phil, you said you agree with me that Star Trek is better as a TV series than a movie series. Would you agree
100%.
with that?
100%. It started off as a TV series, so yeah, absolutely. The fact that they even made a brand new movie in 2009 is only because of when Viacom and CBS split up, and I think Paramount ended up with the film rights, Viacom, CBS ended up with the television rights. So that's why it ultimately happened, because they went ahead, made a new timeline, new movie, and it kind of worked out better for him. J.J. Abrams took kind of a Star Wars approach to it, and it's fine. Yeah. But then, Viacom and Paramount and CBS eventually married back together, and everything was all squared away again. So that's why they pivoted back after Star Trek Beyond to doing more television stuff. And honestly, it thrived. You had Picard, you had Strange New Worlds, you had Prodigy, you had Lower Decks. There's a lot of good Star Trek stuff, that a lot of good fans really appreciated outside of the chuds who were screaming and crying woke every fucking week about it.
Right.
But yeah, I agree completely. It worked out a lot better as a TV franchise than it does a movie franchise.
We did get a super chat from Lone Wolf. The Dog Stars trailer, have you seen it? I have not, but I have it pulled up now. Does anybody know anything about this movie, Dog Stars?
Never heard of it.
Jacob Elordi, I believe. Yeah, let me we're gonna watch this. By the way, I didn't say this earlier, but as usual, trailers might be missing from this stream once it goes up, because last stream they made me remove everything. So let's see what this is. I don't know what this movie is, so
Jasper. Hey, come here.
Is that your mom?
I'm going to pause right here, and I'm going to ask a question. Anybody in the chat, if this is a animal gets killed movie, I'm not watching this trailer. Is it an animal gets killed movie?
I have no
yes
idea.
Or no?
I don't know. I will say it's really funny, like Jacob Elordi's like journey from like Kissing Booth to Euphoria to Frankenstein, back to Euphoria to Dog movie. Like, he's had a really interesting.
I don't do well with movies where they immediately show you that an animal gets killed, because that's just not something I like. I will not sit through a movie that does that typically. The only exception to that, the only exception to that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
John Wick.
So, well, that one was like the guy was getting revenge for that, so that was fine. Like I don't like emotional manipulation with animals. I typically stay away from movies like that.
So what'd you do before the world ended?
The hell?
So the dog survives. Okay.
I was kissing my wife.
All right, there we go. The dog is there. Everybody else died. I'm good.
Wondering every day how I got so lucky.
You gotta have something to haunt you, right? Otherwise, you might get lonely.
Oh, Ridley Scott directed
We have
this?
no idea what's out
Yeah.
there. What do you expect to find? Happy people everywhere. The world that was doesn't exist.
What the fuck?
It's just us trying to hold on to what was. And everyone else.
This world fits you, Barry. Wake up, defend, survive. There's gotta be something better than this.
The dream.
I I don't have the feeling
Can we help him?
Yeah.
We have to stay alive.
I don't like the feeling of wondering whether or not you're going to come back.
It takes a lot of faith to keep searching.
This looks pretty fucking good, actually.
Right.
It's intense. August.
Wow.
I was expecting some like Marley and Me or some like.
Yeah, I mean, when it first,
Audrey at
that's
the
why I
start.
paused. Like, I literally paused it before shit hit the fan. I was like, is this a dog death movie? I don't want to see that at all.
God.
I don't know. It looks pretty good to me. Somebody mentioned a Resident Evil trailer. Did one come out today?
No, I think it's supposed to come out next week.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to do that then. All right. We have
Damn,
one more
man.
thing I wanted to discuss quickly, only
did
because
you
I
talk-
want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you talk about the Coyote versus Acme teaser that came out yesterday?
I didn't even know it came out.
It was pretty brilliant. They put out like
Okay.
a tiny little teaser for a teaser on Instagram, and basically the coyote runs out off the cliff, but before he falls, he turns to the audience, holds up a sign that says "Happy Tax Day,"
Oh
and then
my
he turns
God.
it around and it says, "Don't forget to check your write-offs." And then he falls, and it says "Trailer coming next week."
Okay, well that's good.
That's good.
Wait, the Resident Evil trailer is out? I
No,
looked
it's
for it. I
not.
didn't see it.
It's not out yet.
Was it? Did you see an AI trailer, Xana? When did Josh Brolin get so old? He's been old for a minute. They just did a good job of covering it up. All right, I wanted to follow up on this very briefly. So they're going after the person that released the Avatar movie now.
Yeah.
And someone said they talked about the leaks from Sony, and that person ended up doing like 6 years, or he's doing 6 years in jail for that. So this is not good. Whoever decided to do this, that did it first.
Yeah.
When they find that person, they're probably going to end up in jail for a long time, at least 5 to 6 years, probably. But they're claiming, Paramount is claiming, that it's not on them. They're saying that there was no breach of their servers. This is the fourth or fifth Nickelodeon thing that has been leaked from them now. So it's not on them? Then how did the person get it? Are they saying there's a disgruntled employee that maybe leaked it to the public? Is that what they're suggesting?
Usually a pretty good cover for incompetence.
It's so strange because I know we talked about this last time, but like this has happened with like Nickelodeon movies like for the last 5 years. Like their SpongeBob movies got leaked like 3 times in a row. Like this isn't new.
Yeah, my issue with this is the company that wants to buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So you can't even keep your property safe. Like, legitimately, it's weird. But I wanted to bring this up because it looks like they're going after the person. Oh, you're out, Phil?
Yeah, I've been up since like 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to take my mom to the hospital, so I'm pretty.
Oh, okay.
upset.
Well, I hope
Yeah.
everything's okay. But thank you for
Oh
coming
yeah,
in and hanging out with
she's
us.
fine. But you know,
Okay.
it just lack of sleep. But it has been fun. A lot
Okay.
of stuff to talk about. A lot of good stuff for CinemaCon. Thank you for having me. Jumping on.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks, Phil.
Yeah, buddy.
Always welcome.
Much love, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks. I didn't really have much else, I don't think. Hold on, let me see here. I think that was it. I'm looking through my tabs. We did get a super chat, though. Let me see what it says. Oh, Cody here, the $5 super chat says they were supposed to show Avatar at CinemaCon.
Oh, and they didn't?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if that's a good or bad sign.
I don't either.
I'm curious.
I'm very annoyed by this. Let me say why.
Yeah.
Because I wanted this new studio to do really well because it's going to give us more Avatar stuff down the road.
Yeah.
This is a bad start for them.
It's bad. Yeah.
Because we were already going from theaters to streaming, right? They were already taking us out of the theaters, which was not good. But now the movie has been leaked, which means that it's not even going to get good numbers on streaming now because a lot of people watched it early.
I saw a number, I think it was today, where it got like the leaks up to like 15 million or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's bad. That's really, really bad. And I know, I forget the actress's name. I think it's like Michelle Murphy went on like TikTok today and was like pleading people, like, don't watch this, please. Don't watch this. And if you did, watch it again when it comes out on streaming. And now there's even controversy there where it's like, well, why should we support a company? You know, because I also kind of get that side of it too, where like Paramount does suck, right? Like Paramount has had, you know, stuff has happened in the world in the last couple of years, and Paramount is involved in it. But also, like so many great people worked on this movie, and so many great it's definitely a mixed feelings thing, plushie, where it's like it's kind of a lose-lose. Ideally for me, in like a perfect world, they just sell Avatar. Like sell the rights to Avatar to a different studio would be my like dream scenario.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they do that. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, I think that is it. We've already selected what we're going to be doing, which you guys picked through the poll. Thank you for all the super chats, all of that stuff. That's pretty much it. So I guess we'll give everybody a chance to shout out some stuff with the 2 hour and 30 minute mark. So nothing bonus tonight. Joe, Crazy Joe Adventures. You put a video up recently, right? I think I saw one from you this week.
Yeah, the drive-in opened for the season. It was back at the Mahoning Drive-In. That video's doing fairly well. I'm really bummed out. There's 2 videos I put out recently that have not been doing well at all.
Okay.
And one of them is kind of past the expiration date now, so I guess it's not going to now because it was Easter related. I put one out on the Peeps in the Village. Every year they make sculptures out of marshmallow peeps. It's like a competition, like dioramas and things, and nobody watched it. And now Easter's done, so I don't know if anyone wants to watch a thing about marshmallow.
Save it for next year. Save it for next year. Put it on ice for next year. Xana, we didn't talk about The Boys tonight because Jake wasn't here. I think Jake. Wait, no. Who is it that normally talks about The Boys with me? Is it just you, Darren? Are you the only one watching it?
I don't think Jake watches The Boys or Invincible.
Yeah. It's just you. I know he doesn't watch Invincible, but my Boys review is going up tomorrow. As far as Invincible goes, this past week's episode was the highest rated episode ever for the show. So definitely check that out. I will be doing an Invincible season review, like a full video talking about the whole season after next week, because I think we have one more episode. And Steigervor with the 499 super chat says Jared Padalecki revealed who he's playing on The Boys. It's Mr. Marathon. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's like the new A-Train in the 7, I guess. Which
interesting.
It'll be interesting to have, if they're both in it, Jared and Jensen on the same team.
Yeah, I'm just thinking though. Doesn't the 7 try to like get younger people to join? It feels like a much older character to add to the team. So he must have some sort of like a friendship with Soldier Boy, I'm guessing. Maybe they know each other previously. Because I like Jared, but he doesn't look like a 20-year-old. So
they were out fighting demons together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That would be really funny. Really, really funny. Thrag is OP. Yeah. We just wait. We're not going to get it this season. I thought we were going to get the big thing this season. I don't think we're going to get it now. Darren, you have nothing on your screen, so where can they find you? And you've got a video out this week too. I just saw it pop up.
Yeah, Pipeline came out this morning. Go check it out. Me and we talked movies, like big movies of the year in 2026 that I missed so far. So we talked Mario and Project Hail Mary and Send Help and a lot of those movies. So that was fun. It's kind of flopped so far as well. So go show that some support if y'all have the time.
Okay, we'll definitely do that. All right, far as it goes for me, I put up my reaction video today for the Daredevil podcast, which I do every week now, where I watch a portion of that with you guys and give my thoughts and opinions on it. That is up on my Reloaded channel right now for episode 5 of the season, which I thought was a very, very good episode. And on my Debunks channel, I put out 2 videos today. We have one on Melanie Mack and the Quartering, who don't seem to understand that gay people can be in wheelchairs. You'll have to watch the video. It's quite a watch. Yeah.
In other news, I heard that all those controversial gay conversion therapy camps are now just breaking people's legs.
Oh,
because then they can't be gay.
They can't be gay anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. The other video I did was the guys from Friday Night Tights attacking Erin Moriarty over her looks, even though she has a medical condition, which I found to be disgusting. And it's the same people that told everyone to stop yelling at the guy with Tourette's because he has a medical condition. So I'm glad that they're very consistent in the way they treat people who are suffering from some form of disability or illness. So good to know that that's the kind of guys they are. Xana, you got to watch the video. You're talking about Joe's comment. That's a joke. That's a joke for sure. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll be back on Tuesday with another Nerdcast. I got a busy weekend, but I have plenty of videos coming out. My review for The Boys comes out tomorrow. Then I'll have more videos on my Debunks channel. And then over the weekend, I have another video coming out where I'll probably be talking about some of the stuff from CinemaCon that we didn't cover on the streams. All right, with that being said, we're out of here. We'll see everyone later. Have a good night. Hey there, if you're seeing this, that means we have reached the end of the stream. Thanks so much for your continued support with comments, likes, subscriptions, super stickers, and super chats. I just want to give a special shout out to all of the channel members who have contributed to the success of this channel with paid tiers. On the screen, you will see your name displayed as a signal of appreciation from myself and the channel. If you would like to see your name on this list, consider selecting a tier with the join or plus button, depending on your platform. Thanks again, everyone. Let's hang out soon in the next stream, and I'll see you then.